Hey, I know a lot of really hot 65-year-old women.
Fine.
Adam Curry, John C. Dvorak.
It's Thursday, June 4th, 2015. Time once again for your Gitmo Nation Media Assassination episode 727.
This is No Agenda.
Fighting the new mold order and losing. Broadcasting live from FEMA Region 6 here in the Crack Park condo in downtown Austin, Tejas. In the morning, everybody. I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, where the mold is broken, I'm John C. Dvorak.
It's Crackpot and Buzzkill in the morning.
There you go. Snappy. Good one.
Yeah, right on it.
This is bad,
okay,
man.
let's hear it.
Bad. The mold.
Just every year.
Every year. That's right. Every year it happens. This takes people out here, man. People go down.
They're dropping like flies.
Yeah. So I'm able to stop the.
Wait. I just want a visual. I want the visual here.
Right.
When you exhale, there's a bunch of black goo flying out of those particles.
No, just a little trickle of like tar down the side of my mouth. Yeah, it's like the Black Plague.
Little black cloud of black.
That's exactly it. It is so bad. Now I have the
black mold is everywhere.
I'm sorry?
It's black mold. It's everywhere.
Yes, it's everywhere. But it seems to be at 110% in Austin this week. And I have the quercetin. Well, hold on a second.
Just moldy all the time. I don't get this at all.
It's come from the trees, and I don't know where it comes from. It's horrible. So I'm able to combat the 18-hour sleeping. You're just sitting on the couch, you just fall over because your brain swells
Does this
up.
happen to everybody, or just certain people that have a?
Not everyone. Not everyone's allergic to mold, but mold is very severe. A lot of people are just, and now it's in my chest, in my lungs. I have the black mold in my lungs.
We actually do have a different sound.
Yeah, I know.
It's minor, but it's different. It's different enough that I would notice it, because you are one of the best I've ever run into that can maintain your normal professional sounding voice when you have colds, flu, whatever you have. But I can now hear a difference because of this mold.
This, I think, is one of the first times that you can really hear it. That's new for me. Anyway, it's bad. And then, of course, this week. It's bad. I was moving all of my stuff from the old house, which was empty, kind of, except for my stuff. I moved it here, so it's not been easy. So I'm hoping you can carry the show.
You should have warned me.
No. If I warned you, it seems like.
Well, let's start. Okay, I can carry a little of the show. Well, I'll carry some of it. You'll get going.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Well, since we're talking about the mold, let's talk about anthrax.
Yeah, it's the same thing.
It's a bug. It's a little particle.
First clip.
Play anthrax one. Let's catch up with what's going on with the botched distribution of anthrax to laboratories around the world.
And this is from Newsline. I already heard it. NewsHour, PBS News thing.
PBS.
The TBS News thing.
TBS.
The Pentagon today gave new information about that scare over live anthrax samples. Officials said 51 labs in 17 states, plus Washington, D.C., and 3 foreign countries received the suspected live spores. That's a larger number than what was previously disclosed.
Yeah.
How many?
51 and counting in the United States, plus 3 countries, not just South Korea.
What are we doing with that?
That's what I was thinking.
Is there?
What are they doing? Just who needs some anthrax? You got a problem with your neighbor?
Is there any other practical use for anthrax except for killing people?
Well, research is a practical use.
What kind of research? How to kill people?
Well, let's play clip 2 and maybe we'll hear some of it.
So many more samples of anthrax were sent out to these labs than was known before. Why is this coming out in bits and pieces like this?
Well, part of it is that it takes several days to determine which samples were sent out that were positive and which were negative. This is out of 400 lots, and from each lot comes several scores of samples that are sent to various labs. And so they're going through lot by lot and doing testing. The numbers that we're getting is only out of 4 lots, 1%, and in 100% 90% of the cases that they've tested so far, it's come back positive for anthrax. And so it portends of a lot more laboratories and states coming up as recipients of live anthrax.
So there could be more coming out, is what you're saying.
That's right. The briefing that you showed today, they said it repeatedly to anticipate more.
Well, maybe I have anthrax poisoning.
Now, let's go over this again. 1%. They're saying there's 500 samples out there.
For what? For what?
What are they do? How many labs?
Oh, of course, you watch the TBS News thing, and obviously Gwen and Judy or whoever these women are. Gwen and Judy
show.
I'm sure the Gwen and Judy show, and either Gwen or Judy said it. Maybe Judy said, why do we have so many labs that need anthrax at all? Right? They said that. The question came up and it was explained on the TBS News thing, the Gwen and Judy show.
You know what?
She did?
She actually did.
No.
Yes.
You have this on anywhere on a clip?
Well, actually, the clip too that you just played kind of incorporates it a little bit. She is flabbergasted.
But there's no answers.
No, there is no. This woman who's supposedly she's some kid. She looks like she's 20, and she's the senior national security something or other for the Daily Beast.
Oh, well, that'll help.
So I'm thinking, well, she's not going to tell us anything worthwhile. But she actually, I was stunned when she did it, but she brought it up. She's shaking her head going, what is the point of sending all this anthrax out? In follow-up stories that I've heard elsewhere, they mention that there's a big contract out apparently that we don't specifically know about, but I guess it's out there. And the contract is for anthrax detection systems. And so there was a bunch of orders for the dead anthrax because they figure if you can detect the dead anthrax, it's all you need to develop a detector is dead anthrax. So they sent out all this live anthrax by accident, but they were supposedly sending out all this dead anthrax, which was supposedly hit by gamma radiation to kill it. And I guess some software glitch.
There we go. Yes, the unintended consequences of technology.
And but I think that's what's going on. They just don't seem to. They're just more befuddled by the whole thing than they are to discuss it in any detail. But is there a sudden interest in developing anthrax detectors? That's another question that needs to be answered.
Well, here's the question that there's something up. Here's the question that I need to pose, and it comes on the heels of this report, which will lead us into the 6-week cycle, accurately predicted as always, with smaller little bits and pieces. But this
I want to just stop you in your train of thought. I just want to mention one little thing about the 6-week cycle. As not unusual, it happened on our show day.
Yeah, they always do it. Didn't we say this on Sunday? Oh, they'll do it today.
Yes, we did. I just wanted to remind people we actually said it on Sunday.
Right after we're done.
It probably happened on the show day, and it did. Okay, go on.
You can set your clock bias. Yeah, so this report came out, and there's a lot of things strange about it, mainly because ABC got the exclusive, and we know ABC is so tightly tied into the administration and the White House. But the big question remains, which I didn't see it discussed anywhere.
Undercover agents from Homeland Security put TSA screeners to the test at dozens of the nation's busiest airports, and they failed miserably. ABC News has learned that TSA screeners were beaten in 95% of those tests designed to see if mock explosives or weapons could be smuggled through airport security checkpoints. The tests were conducted by so-called Red Team investigators, posing as passengers and using techniques that terrorists might employ. According to officials briefed on the results, TSA agents failed 67 out of 70 tests, with Red Team members repeatedly able to get potential bombs or weapons through security.
Anytime there's a high rate of misses, that causes concern.
Sources tell us in one test, an undercover agent was stopped after setting off an alarm at a magnetometer. But TSA screeners failed to detect the fake explosive device that was taped to his back during the pat-down that followed.
The terrorists do watch this thing. They do watch and they go to school on how they can learn from possible vulnerabilities.
I'm Jay Johnson.
Homeland Security Secretary Jay Johnson was so frustrated when he was informed of the results, he went to TSA headquarters last week to get some answers. His staff says corrections have been made to deal with the alarming lapses. David, it's unclear what security upgrades have been ordered by Johnson, but some are reportedly already in place. ever mindful that al-Qaeda and other terrorist groups are obsessed with using aviation against us.
Okay, so that was the exclusive report. The only question I have, if this is now a 95% failure rate, if we're to believe the report, which I've not been able to see, of course, and this is not the first time. We've had many, the original scanners didn't work. Isn't it time people have a questioning attitude that if this is all failing, is it possible that maybe there's just no one trying to bring down planes because it seems easy enough? At what point does the American population say, maybe it's just crap?
It's all bull crap.
And couldn't we? Shouldn't Fox or somebody or anybody, the Judy and Gwen show, can't they just say, does this mean statistically that perhaps this is no one's trying to bring anything down and we're just pestering citizens?
Yeah.
Yeah, I knew you would have that answer. That's what I told several people who I talked to discuss this with, and they're like, "Yeah, that's really nutty." I said, "Yeah, John's going to go, whatever." Like,
no,
we don't. It's true.
Yeah, you nailed me.
I know. Well, please.
Yeah, it's exactly what would be what the public should be thinking. This is theater and it's bull crap, and this every time we turn around they prove it again and again. But instead, what's going to happen? Which Horowitz brought this up on the DH Unplugged show, and I had this, and he says, "Doesn't it make he had some wrong way of looking at it?" I said, "No, this is all about getting more gear. They need more gear." Apparently, the screeners can't do the job. They need a new equipment.
And exactly.
It's going to be a big spend. You watch. This is going to spend more money on more crap that's useless.
Yeah. And we need the more money to do all the background checks on the 3 million badge holders who have no background check, who just run it on airports. It's theater. It's such a big theater. But why is it that no one vote every single douchebag out? People, all of them. If no one's asking this question, then they don't belong to be representing you.
Well, these so-called representatives are also pushing, the ones that push through the Patriot, whatever, the Freedom Act continue the Patriot Act. I always thought there was actually a good little clip I have, which kind of has a little kicker in it.
A little background, so everybody knows. The Patriot Act expired at midnight on Sunday. And then there was a lot of boo-boo back and forth. Of course, the terrorists didn't stop, but they didn't do anything either. So we dodged the bullet on that one. And then the USA Freedom Act was passed on Tuesday night without amendments. And I just to make sure, I looked through it, and indeed, in the original document that was sent to the Senate, it had the extension of the sunset for the Patriot Act. That's out of it. It still has all the indemnification stuff and reporting requirements, and you are allowed to record. I think a company such as Google or any other internet services provider can report national security letters in not with a lot of detail, but every 6 months or something. It's and not a single discussion about that. It's idiotic. It's just idiotic. We all deserve to die. Fuck them.
Well, we don't deserve to die. That's the point. We're going to die because these guys are going to get us killed.
I have a secret. I have a secret for you. I know how it ends. Nobody gets out alive, John.
Yeah, so I've heard that.
Yeah.
Well, let's play the backgrounder on the real event, which seems to be, ever since Comey got in, we have new style. And yes. I think he plays a long game. And his long game, don't you think?
Well, so James Comey, director of FBI, former board member of HSBC, banker, hedge fund, and, of course, a prosecutor, famously sent Martha Stewart to jail. Is now the director of FBI.
He plays a long, tricky game. Mm-hmm. It's still, the cycle looks to be the same, mm-hmm. but the events are trickier. They're different. They're kind of, this one was it looks as if in this case, he's setting up a cry wolf scenario.
Now, do you have a clip for him? I don't know which clip.
Yes, I do. I have Planes hoax.
Okay, got it.
Good morning. Of course, these groups took advantage of the Memorial Day holiday to try to spook a lot of people. And unfortunately, it is the sign of the times that we live in nowadays. But luckily, each and every single threat proved to be a hoax. This coming as well as several airports, including LAX, expecting a record number of travelers this holiday season.
A question. Did they look it up on Snopes to determine that it was a hoax? Is that how it works?
Or rather, this summer season as well. Now, federal authorities believe that the anonymous phone threats against at least 10 different airlines, international flights that were bound for the U.S., were from the same source. And although they did not appear credible, several jets were searched as a precaution. One flight was even escorted by a pair of F-16 fighter jets. A lot of planes were evacuated, aircrafts and baggage checked, and each flight from Maryland, Atlanta, Buffalo, JFK, Newark, to name a few, finally given the all clear.
This can cause tremendous disruption if we have a multitude of these hoaxes coming in, especially on a busy flying day. So
who is this? It sounds like Barney Frank.
That's Peter King.
Oh, yeah, it's the same guy.
The FBI is the leading agency investigating all the threats. They believe that this is a new tactic by terror groups to just cause chaos here in the United States, just as the busy summer travel season is beginning. LAX, for example, is expecting to be a lot more crowded this summer, numbers that they haven't seen in at least a decade. Last year, this airport hosted at least 23 million flyers. This year, they're expecting it to be upwards of possibly around 25 million. The reason why is because of bigger jets, meaning more available seating, and also because the exchange rate on the dollar is boosting consumer confidence. We're talking to several travelers here this morning. We'll have much more for you live at 6 o'clock, reporting live.
This is local news.
I think it's appropriate for new listeners who've come on board, just to explain the 6-week cycle, which was revealed to us by one of our producers within the FBI.
Government circles.
Government circles, let's put it that way. And the whole concept is every 6 weeks, they need to do something that is public, that is thwarting some terrorist attack in order to keep the budgets going. And we've been tracking this, what is it now, 2 years, John?
No, I think it's 3.
And it's like clockwork.
Yeah, it's pretty much like clockwork. And I think what somebody determined, some psychologist, like somebody that's in the not the Defense Department, but in the Justice Department, determined that about 6 weeks is where people forget, because the news cycle turns over and people forget like last week's news.
Right.
So after 6 whole weeks, people don't remember there was an event, and so they can put another event out there. So they keep doing it again. It gets people nervous. Now, Comey, since he came in, which is recently, he has changed the style of these events. He has a lot of little events.
Yeah.
He's not for the big giant concert. He likes the little venues.
I like the killing of the guy with the knife better as a part of the 6-week cycle. I actually have a CNN backgrounder. You want to hear this?
Well, yeah, I want to finish this, but
okay, go ahead.
Killing of the guy with the knife, I think does fit in with what Comey's doing, which is little events, things that are not the Boston bombing. I think ever since that went awry, based on the way we look at it.
Yeah, the big events are too tricky.
They're too tricky, and these guys can't really do them properly unless the whole thing is, they got some guy entrapped. And that, does take that takes some work too. This sort of thing, this hoax bomb threats are.
Well, there's a couple of things wrong with the hoax.
Can I mention one more thing before you go on?
Because I have a question. I have a question.
Okay, you have a question, but I have a question.
Well, I have a question.
Okay. In
your analysis of the news, figuring out this is a hoax, at any point did someone say, "Hey, wait a minute, doesn't the NSA or FBI?"
That was my question.
We have the same question. How come they didn't track these and go and arrest the people making these hoax calls?
I don't know.
That seems to be the easiest one.
They're tapping all the calls, and what good is it?
I mean, I can't even read. I can't read books anymore because I think like this, and I poke holes in. Books are better, by the way. Books do a better job of closing the holes in the plot lines. This is nuts. Not a single question about this.
No.
All right, here's the background, which is an FBI operation. That's why I think you're right. This is another Comey little thing. Not too bad. Like, poor kid who they killed. Just a kid.
The original plot was allegedly sinister and gruesome, according to law enforcement officials.
Well, okay. It was allegedly sinister and gruesome.
Allegedly sinister.
Allegedly.
Can't you make something? If it's sinister and gruesome, it's sinister and gruesome. You don't have to allege.
It's allegedly sinister.
They're just using the word because they think it's cool.
Well, but this brought together so many memes into one package that it was beautiful.
The original plot was allegedly sinister and gruesome, according to law enforcement officials. The FBI believes Boston terror suspect Usama Rahim's original plan was to behead Pamela Geller, a controversial activist and conservative blogger. According to an FBI affidavit, 26-year-old Rahim purchases this marine fighting knife on Amazon on May 25th.
And by the way, both you and I have one of these. They were given to us along with our podcast award.
Right, by one of our guys named Ben.
Yeah.
Dude.
And in fact, one of the two guys who helped me move from two dudes in a van, they said, hey, you got a marine knife? And I said, yeah. I said, what are you going to do with this?
It's part of the award.
Yeah, it's an award. And I might cut off Pamela Geller's head if I just feel like it.
The following day, on the 26th, he allegedly makes a phone call to his nephew.
Allegedly. Well, he call or he didn't.
So here they track the phone call.
25-year-old David
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Wright, now being charged with destroying evidence on Rahim's smartphone.
This is a whole new one. The whole new realm, destroying evidence on a smartphone. Mm-hmm.
The FBI says Rahim told his nephew about the knife over the phone, and that Wright later responded with a reference, investigators say, to terrorist beheadings. The next day, on May 27th, the FBI intercepts the Amazon package, x-rays it, and finds the knife and a knife sharpener.
Whoa! John, a knife sharpener!
A knife sharpener.
And they intercepted the Amazon package. Wow, this is a big operation, Comey.
But then, abruptly, this week, on Tuesday, the FBI says Rahim calls his nephew, saying he's changing the plan because he can't wait that long. Instead, he's going to go after the boys in blue. And
there
Rahim
it is.
reveals his plan to randomly kill
police. Chop off Pamela Geller's head. Why did he change? Okay.
Just stay with me.
Police officers in Massachusetts on Tuesday or Wednesday. This supposed escalation, investigators
There's a lot of alleged and supposed.
say, is what prompted them to approach Rahim at this shopping center Tuesday morning.
Hey, you got a sharpening down. Hey, you got a sharpening stone?
Clearly shows these 4 or 5 officers backtracking away from the suspect as he's coming at them.
On Wednesday, investigators showed the surveillance video of the shooting to community leaders.
Based on the video that we saw, I would 150% collaborate what the commissioner had just stated.
He's going to collaborate that. Great. These leaders are going to corroborate, I think is the word he was looking for. But okay, you would collaborate, which is the truth, John. Listen to this again. So we didn't see this video.
Collaborate.
Yeah, the truth always wanted to come out. Here's this community leader, and he says, yeah, I wanted to collaborate.
Community leaders.
Based on the video that we saw, I would 150% collaborate what the commissioner had just stated.
Yeah, okay, sure. Because someone said the word collaborate to him. That seems clear. Now, all of that is fine. A little Comey 6-week cycle. Oh, he's going to behead people. But, of course, I wanted to find Pamela Geller, and I found her with Aaron Burnett over there on CNN. Now, this is
good catch.
This is a lot. Yeah, this is a lot of strange energy between these two. And Pamela went full on Yenta, which I kind of like. When you go, meow, meow, meow. And I have 2 clips. Here's the first.
CNN's reporting you were the beheading target. What's your reaction to that?
Oh, great. I'm enjoying that. I'm going to Disneyland next week.
Well, they targeted me for violating Sharia blasphemy laws. They mean to kill everyone who doesn't do their bidding and abide by their law voluntarily. This is a showdown for American freedom.
That's a showdown. That was the headline, showdown for American freedom. Showdown.
Will we stand against the savagery or bow down to them and silence ourselves? It won't end with me, no matter what happens to me, or the cops. This is just the beginning. The one thing that's being ignored that came out of Garland, Texas, is that ISIS is here.
No!
Islamic terrorism is here. Now, will the media realize what's at stake and that their heads are next? Or will they continue to target me because they hate my message of freedom? That's the question.
Hold on a second. Did she just say ISIS is here and the media is next?
ISIS. We will follow them to the gates of hell. ISIS.
I feel good. Now, the second part of this is even better. as Aaron Burnett, who was very annoyed by Pamela Geller, who was about to go completely nuts, but in some regards she's correct, about the Southern Poverty Law Center. Now, the Southern Poverty Law Center, we've been tracking them for a while. It's a non-governmental organization, a nonprofit. They have over $700 million, and what they do is they determine who is a hate group. And it used to be only for Jews, and now it's everything. And they just track hate groups. And by their reckoning, we could even be called a hate group. So this is where it gets kind of funny between these two.
The Southern Poverty Law Center, as you're well aware, has described your group, the American Freedom Defense Initiative, as what they say, quote, is an active anti-Muslim group. They track hate groups in this country. They describe you as, quote, the
nice association.
Yeah, isn't that great?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Oh,
hey, Mr. Adam Curry, I see that you're living in Austin, Texas. You know, a friend of mine follows Nazis.
Yeah. So, and, well, there you go. Yeah, exactly.
Say, quote, is an active anti-Muslim group. They track hate groups in this country. They describe you as, quote, the anti-Muslim movement's most visible and flamboyant figurehead. Again, they track hate groups. They're putting you on that list. Nothing justifies a beheading or a beheading plot, but it's important to note this. I mean, are you stoking the flames? Do you, on some level, relish being the target of these attacks?
This is fantastic. This is a good question from Aaron Burnett.
Relish being the target. Who self-promotes to get killed? That's the first thing. The second thing is the Southern Poverty Law Center. Really, Aaron?
Really?
Since when? Who designated them the arbiter of anything? They're an uber-left group.
Uber-left. I like it.
They don't track jihadist groups. They don't track groups that actually target for slaughter. They track patriots. They track veterans. They track defense groups like myself, and their members have actually targeted and tried to slaughter family groups and leaders like Tony Perkins of family groups, and even the shooter in North Carolina who shot 3 Muslims over a parking dispute was a member of the Southern Poverty Law Center. That's who you're using against me. Why don't we talk about the accomplishments and the accolades that my group got? Why do you use the Southern Poverty Law Center, a notorious uber-left communist group, to slime me, to smear me? I'm the hunted one. I'm the hunted one. This is incredible to me.
All right, as I said, I think nothing justifies a beheading, but I do think the question was a fair one.
I want to see Pamela Geller. And
I think the question was a fair one. I'm sorry for asking it.
I'd love to see I'd love to see them in a mud wrestling match.
Like you said, the quick-witted Yenta going against some poor Goyim.
Yeah. Oh, man.
I don't know why I asked it. Actually, it was in the prompter, and I read it from the prompter.
Fair question, isn't it? Isn't it a fair question?
I thought it was a fair question at the time. She laces into her.
Yeah, it's, man, oh, man.
She'll never get back on that show.
Oh, yes, she will. That was a good piece of television. I enjoyed watching that.
You know, these people are hypersensitive to these sorts of things.
I have a few more ISIS, ISIL, IS things, but I'd just like to plow through unless you want to go back to 6 weeks.
No, I'm good.
The royal Dutch family, the king and the queen of the Netherlands, Willem-Alexander and Maxima. God, she's so awesome. I love the queen of the Netherlands. She is just a queen. She's just a queen. She's great. Hot. From Argentina. Of course, we know him as Prince Pils, because he was pretty much just drunk all the time, and now he's the king. So I don't know. I don't know if he's sober or not, but he sat down with. You know, it's funny. I got a tweet from the Dutch embassy earlier in the week, and they said, "Hey, Adam, could you please follow us so we can send you a direct message?" And I said, okay, so I follow him. I didn't answer. I said, follow him, and I get a direct message. It says, "Oh, you know, the king and queen are coming, and could you do something for us?" Yeah, what do you want me to do? I'm thinking, this is it. This is going to be great. Well, could you post these banners on your website? I said, are you insane? How about a personal meeting with the king and queen? Oh no, we can't do that. Well, why don't you blow me? No, nuts, a-holes. I should. I bet the king would love to hang out with me for a little bit.
He probably would.
Yeah, and I'd love to hang out with his wife.
The duds around him.
So he's sitting there with Obama. They do one of those, our special relationship, 700 years. And it's true because the Dutch transported the slaves to America. That's never really brought up. It was the Dutch ships, but okay. And so here's the prince, and of course a lot of annoying cameras, so you don't have to mention it.
The main reason for our visit, obviously, was to thank the United States for what you've done for us 70 years ago. Especially the 82nd and 101 Airborne have played a major role in liberating our country.
That's true.
Taking away the Nazi oppression, giving us back justice and rule of law and freedom. And ever since that moment, we're grateful, and as long as the Netherlands exist, we will be grateful to the United States for giving that to us. This morning at Arlington, wreath-laying ceremony, we honored those people that gave their utmost, their life for our country. And speaking with the veterans and the Rosies was very impressive for us. Veterans that have liberated my country.
I don't even think Americans know who the Rosies are anymore.
I don't know who the Rosies are.
Oh, the Rosie. You know, it's a very famous image of the woman with a bandana, and she's got her muscle like that. You know, we're gonna support our troops.
Oh, right. The Rosies.
The Rosies, right.
The Rosies that took the place in the industry here and that kept this country running so that the men...
Rosie the Riveter.
Yeah, there you go.
The other side of the ocean.
That's where it came from.
Very, very impressive, I must say. And once again, USA, thank you very much for liberating.
USA! USA! All right, next.
Those values that you stood for at the time and that were not available to us and we regained, we now stand shoulder by shoulder fighting ISIL. Shoulder by shoulder, meaning a small shoulder and a big shoulder, but still we stand next to each other. And we have the same values we want to defend facing ISIL.
So that's it. That's the message. We're here to fight ISIL because we're all in on it. All in. Fantastic.
So ISIL, has ISIL got a navy? They're going to attack
the Netherlands? No, come on. They're coming back from, you know what's going on. You know how it works.
No, they're trying to sell more Toyota trucks? What is? I don't understand the angle here.
It's what it is. Is what it is. Christiana Amanpour, who I used to really respect, and she's just gone all in on whatever. She just gave up and said, "Screw it, I'll join you." The New World Order.
Well, there's not a lot of jobs left.
She was on the Nightly Show, which is, I think it's Comedy Central. Larry Wilmore, and just listen to her. And then she's a respected journalist, not by me anymore, but here's what she had to say based on this nut job question.
Simple question for you. What happens first? We defeat ISIS or Brian Williams anchoring again?
This is the level of...
It's a comedy show.
Yeah, well, listen to her answer, though.
Take your time. Take your time.
Oh, my goodness. We defeat ISIS?
Or...
USA! USA!
There we go.
Fuck yeah, bitches!
Keep it 100. You got 100% sticker.
These people are going to be the first to go.
Okay, we have a little bit of time. Are we taking ISIS seriously enough, do you think, right now?
I don't think so. I don't think there's enough committed to the...
No, we're not taking it seriously enough. No. Listen to her answer. She's counsel on foreign relations.
ISIS seriously enough, do you think, right now?
I don't think so. I don't think there's enough committed to the fight against ISIS. ISIS has to be beaten. ISIS can be beaten without putting American boots on the ground. As one counterterrorism official said today, America's doing it half-assed, and it can't win half-assed. But one thing about the Comedic Act, actually comedians in the Arab world are mocking ISIS and taking them down online in that.
Very nice. That's the strategy.
Nice.
Very nice. Comedians will take them down. Very nice. Very, very nice. But what bothers me is the excitement of the crowd of how we're going to defeat ISIS.
Yeah, somehow.
And now there's a new strategy that has popped up, and it came up in a question. And Marie Harf is, for some reason, still answering State Department questions. This is really strange. So now, I'm sorry?
I said you're right. It's a good catch.
The new messaging, which you'll hear in this clip, is Assad is now allying himself with ISIS. Which goes,
this is funny. I don't know if I have a clip, but I noticed this too. Maybe one of these clips, I'll look over them. But
this clip has it.
This is a very interesting trickety-doo thing here. This is a
trickety-doo.
Trickeration, or this is a
trickerosity.
This is bull crap.
Well, not only is it bull crap because they are supposedly arch enemies, and that's been drummed into us about Assad, was actually our friend because he's also fighting ISIS, but he's not because he's a douchebag, even though he hangs out with Angelina Jolie and Brad Pitt and everybody else. And the poor guy looks like a deer caught in the headlights. He just, he's not a good dictator. That's why we don't see him a lot. He's just not evil looking. Doesn't have a uniform on. So now there's this partner with brutal dictator. Okay.
About the situation in Syria, having seen those same reports, that the U.S.-led coalition really needs to look at trying to coordinate airstrikes with the Syrian military in order to prevent ISIL from trying to claim Aleppo, claim a nearby town that controls a major border cross.
Oh, shit, this is the wrong clip. This is also a funny clip, but it's the wrong clip. Damn it.
Well, I had the clip that described exactly what's going on. They said the ISIL guys are going to block the exits to Turkey, and they were block the door. And we tried to stop them with some bombing, and I guess the rebels that were non-ISIS rebels tried to stop them, and then Syria bombed the non-ISIL rebels, and we've now assumed that somehow the two, even though the whole politic, and I don't use that word as such very often
at all,
the whole politic of this indicates that ISIS wants to wipe out Syria, make it part of the greater state, and get rid of this guy. Somehow they're going to line up together. This doesn't make any sense. And if they can sell this to the American public, I'm going to be shaking my head for days.
Oh, please. How long have we been doing this? It's easy.
That doesn't mean I won't be shaking my head.
True. Pushover. Easy sell.
Pushover.
Easy
How
sell.
Dumb is the public?
Easy. Well, yeah. Yeah, pretty dumb.
I cracked up when I saw this.
Yeah. I don't know. People, if the people will buy it, fine. That's fine.
Well, I've got, okay. You came with your A game there. You don't sound like you're sick of as a dog.
I'm sweating like a dog.
Sweating like a pig. Pigs don't sweat. That's the irony.
The only other thing I'll mention is that every single report these days that is done about ISIS, ISIL, IS contains this backing track. Their hit song. And I find that to be
maybe it's a mind control trick.
It's a total mind control trick. We've already identified the song as being extremely catchy. Yeah, our version has the swords and stuff and marching, which is even better. But this, it is truly, it's a trigger. It's a trigger, and people I don't think they realize that that's being done to them. So I think whenever we discuss it, we should be playing the song as well.
Okay, that's fine.
Hey, all right.
So I've got it. Let you go off a little bit off track here. On to last show, I want to do a little follow up.
Okay.
On our because I've got I know what's going on here. So Blatter,
I'm glad you picked this up. Yeah.
Blatter, after listening to him pontificate.
Now, Blatter is the president of FIFA, the International Football
International
Organization.
Corrupt soccer organization.
Mm-hmm.
And they're going after him in a big way. And there's a couple little twists coming, which were brought out on the NewsHour with some guy from Canada who analyzes this. And I want to play these clips so we can get a feeling for what is really ahead. Because they're not talking about it, but I know what it is.
Okay. Oh, good.
Play Blatter now out.
There's a meeting at King's Landing, and what's really going on is a bunch of kingmakers, people behind the throne, people that we don't see in public, either as the journalists or as sports fans, I think phoned up Sepp Blatter this morning and said, enough is enough.
So what precipitated that? As you and I are speaking, as we tape this interview, ABC News is reporting that the FBI, U.S. prosecutors are now investigating Blatter himself.
Hey. Yeah, and you have an extraordinary scenario here. As you can see, I'm speaking to you from Ottawa, Canada, where the Women's World Cup will be in a few days. The second in command earlier today in Zurich suddenly discovered that he had crucial business that meant he couldn't fly to Canada. Really what may be going on, a lot of people are talking about this, is that he's afraid of landing in Canada. Canadian extradition laws with the United States are excellent, and if you guys want people arrested, our police services generally arrest them and extradite them right away, unlike Switzerland or Trinidad and Tobago. So there was a fear that their top executives couldn't even attend the Women's World Cup without fear of being arrested. I mean, this is really extraordinary.
Oh, no, I can't attend the Women's World Cup.
I think it's hilarious. Yeah. So these guys now they can't even. Well, this is going to happen to some of our
presidents and all kinds of stuff. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
When the EU gets a backbone, they would arrest Cheney. They'd probably arrest Bush.
Oh yeah,
all these guys. But let's go to FBI. This is a little FBI, a little more background around Blatter. This is number 2.
Is there a sense, Declan Hill, of who else may be implicated before this is over?
Yeah, I looked at the FBI indictment that came out, as you know, under Loretta Lynch, the Attorney General, last week, and it's an extraordinary picture. What they really paint is a deliberate, clear, informal, organized crime syndicate operating inside international sports. So you have the public face of how to market these TV, all these ticketing things, and then you have these really meticulous, well-planned scams that are going on inside that organization. So really, if you're getting the second in command who's afraid of getting on a plane to fly to Canada, it really could be anyone.
So if for Blatter to step down and be replaced by someone else, how much of a change is that in and of itself?
I think it's a really an era-making change. There's a whole bunch of national sports federations around the world, or soccer federations, that are going to be deeply, deeply worried. Look, FIFA has a track record of when national governments, be they Iran, be they Greece, be they Kenya, be they Nigeria, look at their soccer and say, hang on, this is too corrupt, we're going to clean it up. FIFA will go in and stop those government investigations. They'll stop those police investigations, and they'll say, hey, you can't investigate our people because that's politics interfering with sport. Mm-hmm. So you have sports, soccer federations around the world that have been essentially protected by Blatter and the people in Zurich. That day seems to be over now, and that's going to shake the soccer world in a tremendous way.
Declan Hill, we thank you very much for talking with us.
Thanks.
I'm not absolutely sure what Bladder 3 Roundup is.
Well, but before you move on, just our previous conversation about this is how we typically do stuff on this show. We had the obvious F Russia with the upcoming 2018 World Cup, trying to maybe take it away from them. That's what some United States senators have been talking about. Then we have the obvious, which I think was pretty valid, FIFA trying to kick Israel out of FIFA because they were being unfair to the Palestinian teams. And, now I'm kind of hearing, and we talked about it so many times, these big sporting organizations, the motherlode being the IOC, the International Olympic Committee.
That's exactly what the big target is.
All right, talk to me, baby.
I think they're not saying it, but this is like a test dry run. We're the United States. We don't really care about soccer. But if we can go after an international organization to the point where they're afraid to travel outside of Switzerland, because the Swiss, they're pretty lenient, even though the Swiss are going after these guys too, because they're tired of being like like a place you could hole up like Yemen. They're like the Yemen of Europe, where the criminal types can hole up.
Now we know that Bill Clinton was originally on the. This is just stuff I've been reading around, was originally on the committee that was going to convince FIFA to give these games, not to Qatar, but to give it to the United States. And the reporting is that after they chose Qatar over the United States, that Bill Clinton went back to his hotel room and smashed a mirror and went completely bonkers, because I'm sure he was paid to make it happen.
Yeah, he probably was. I'm sure he was paid to make it happen. He figured he could, and he didn't.
Do we want to check out clip 3?
Yeah, let's do it. I think it's just the end of the other clip. I'm not sure, but let's play it.
So if for Blatter to step down and be replaced by someone else, how much of a change
it's just the end of the clip 2. The clip 2 is too long. I should have been cut there.
All right. Do you want to hear the rest?
The point is that now that they're doing this, a lot of it has to do with we're a big market. We figure that we should get some of the action.
Television rights, baby.
We should get some of the action. And so when the Qatar thing was the end of that was it. This is not right. And so this is going to happen to the Olympic Committee, because they screwed us on a couple of things recently too. And the Olympic guys are not only worse, or potentially worse, or allegedly worse. They are not liked by anybody. I mean, when they were
people are afraid of them. I know the Dutch.
They were up in the Pacific Northwest because there's a lot of businesses in Olympic Peninsula called the Olympic this and the Olympic that, Olympic plumbing, the Olympic national parks. They were bitching about that. And because we had some minor event, I think it was the Winter Olympics or something. I forgot what the last event was in this country, but whatever it was, they were clamping down. They were sending cease and desist orders to plumbing companies and small, little businesses that happen to be named Olympic because they're in the Olympic Peninsula.
And they have, Well, if you really look at it from my perspective, organizations like FIFA, but certainly the International Olympic Committee, they really are the New World Order. They are responsible for keeping people in line, keeping the men dumb and all happy. Vote for your team. When I'm in New York and I walk into the people wearing football jerseys with their favorite player in the bar watching TV. You stupid human resource slaves. It's crazy. And I think that they probably could flip the switch, like 3 more days till Halloween. They play some little tune and everyone goes nuts. Think about it. People are so hypnotized. Or, no Super Bowl this year. You want to see some rioting? That's why they're so powerful. They control the slaves.
Well, I think their days are numbered. To have new guys. There's not going to be any less corrupt when the new guys come in and take over, but we'll get rid of these guys.
It's a takeover. Too much power.
Right. Too much power. And we don't have a piece of the action. We're the United States of America, for God's sake.
Right. I can predict what's going to happen. This is going to be easy. It's going to be the Eccleston. This is going to be, what's the guy in Britain? We're going to have videos and pictures show up of all these top IOC people, getting beaten by Nazi S&M bitches and stuff. Yes. This is guaranteed.
A lot of that going on.
Guaranteed. Or push all the pedo bear stuff. They're responsible. They're a big pedophile ring. That's the easy way.
Yeah.
But I like your analysis that this is a dry run. This is excuse me, we're coming for you. Yeah, that's pretty good.
Yeah, I want to see how it works. What kind of pushback we're going to get from the public at large. Turns out not much of a pushback. Just the elites that are involved in this scam, they're the ones that are trying to push back, but now they're getting afraid they can't travel. And if you can't travel to Canada, where can you travel to? Canada.
Well, with that, I want to thank you for your courage and say, in the morning to you, John C., where the C stands for Canadian Border Crossing, Dvorak.
And in the morning to you, Adam Curry. Also in the morning to all ships at sea, boots on the ground, feet in the air, subs in the water, and all the dames and knights out there.
In the morning to everybody in the chat room, noagendastream.com. Thank you for keeping me awake and up and keeping me going. And in the morning to our artists, thank you. We say thank you to Joshua, who provided the artwork for episode 726. And, now I have to go look at what that was. It was the Weather Whiplash was the title of it, and it was it was Bill Nye. Great piece of art. It kind of caught me by surprise. With the hater map, he's pointing towards the weather map. Yeah. It's like hater. It was a good piece.
Is that the one? No, wasn't that 2 weeks ago, 2 shows ago?
No, this is the 726, the Weather Whiplash. It feels that long ago.
I guess. Yeah. Jeez, I'm going to get my act together here.
But we're seeing more and more of this, good.
Well, of course, I use a couple of these things sometimes too, maybe more in the newsletter. I always have one in the newsletter. So I think more of these fly past the desk than probably I'd want to. It's for me to keep track. As you get older, your short-term memory really falls apart. It's terrible. Somebody out there, one of your voodoo doctor, somebody might have a good short-term memory herbal thing that might be good.
I'll ask.
I think I asked him once, but I forgot.
There he is, everybody. John C. Dvorak. The C stands for comedy. Comedy, yes.
The comedy genius. Barry
Coggins and
Chattanooga, Tennessee. These are people we want to thank. This is our executive and associate executive producers. People who give over $200 per show get special call-outs because, they put a lot of money out there. And no more in today's show than Barry Coggins, who from Chattanooga, Tennessee, sent us a check for $727, making him a member of the 727 Club with 27 cents just for good measure.
Nice.
I've cut off by the way, I want to discuss, we're going to create something called the Club.
Oh,
this is separate from knighthoods.
And is this like the Club 33 with the?
No, this will be the club. This will begin with the Deuce Club.
Mm-hmm.
So members, every member of because here's the problem: you have Barry here's the member of a club of one guy. You can't. There's no way you can have drinks with the other people in the club because he's the only guy. So the club, which would include anybody who paid a amount of money that equals the show number, which is how we give these special clubs out, will be a member of the club, which is a drinking club.
Yes.
And that is a separate list of people who gave, starting with show 200, the show number. Like somebody gave $203 that they were in club 203.
Right.
Yeah. But now they're all in the club, so they can have somebody to drink with. That's the way I see it.
Yeah.
Barry Coggins will be looking forward to that, unless he's
So we're just calling it the club.
The club. I've cut off my coffee habit and will shift the spending to you for today's show. Whoops. Let me just widen this thing so I can actually read what he said. I hate that. It's for you on a monthly donation as well. Me, for personal relations, I chose this amount for today's show because of the number. Back on 3/14, I made a pre-donation in hopes of changing my luck in 2015. It was then, and it still is, the worst year ever. And I don't think anything will change that fact before the end of December. However, since my job karma requests in March, several contracts have come in, and that does help for the dudes named Ben like me.
Nice.
So I will continue to ask for I wonder how many dudes named Ben we actually have listening to the show. I think it was hundreds. Thousands.
Yeah, it's very big, yeah. Well, because we respect sysadmins and network admins, and we respect them. We know we know who's really running the show.
Yes. So I will continue to ask for jobs karma and some general karma for everyone listening today. The karma works. Also, this donation makes me a knight. It's money well spent, and even though I have only been listening for a little over a year, the No Agenda podcast has been the only news and information source that has helped me keep my sanity. It would be devastating if the No Agenda show would end due to lack of listener support. It's a great value for value model, and I will continue my support as long as possible. I'd like to be called Sir, get that right, Slough.
With one F.
Slough, and request 3 geishas and a bucket of fried chicken at the ceremony.
You got it. Let me just put that down.
They've been missing of late, and I would like them back into the coronation. Let's see if we can minimize the damage to the remainder of 2015 and be in good position at the end of the year. With No Agenda twice a week, I feel pretty good about the odds.
Nice.
So he needs a
jobs karma, I believe, right?
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
And I am moving 3 geishas and a bucket of fried chicken to the top for today's ceremony.
I don't know why that's funny, the 3 geishas and the chicken.
You should try it sometime, see how it works for you.
It's hilarious. Yeah. Well, I think the geishas would be feeding you the chicken. Patrick Seymour, Clayton, Ohio, 365. Please say happy birthday to my daughter, Emma Grace, who turns 1 on June 6th. No jingles, no karma. Just take my money for the 33rd birthday.
Andy sent me pictures, which is creepy.
I would like, why?
Well, he said, I knew I don't want to ask for pictures. No, I don't usually ask for pictures of 1-year-olds. She's very cute. She's cute. Emma Grace is very cute.
I would like to make people are proud of their kid.
Yeah.
I would like to make an anonymous donation of $333.33 for his 33rd birthday. Well, I don't know where that is. Thank you both for watching the news for me every week, because I can't sit through more than 10 minutes of it before turning red with rage while my faith in humanity hits rock bottom. I don't know how you do it. Well, we don't either.
No.
Thank you. We have to, wine helps. Thank you for your service. P.S. My husband is looking at... I'm sorry. I'm reading the... Oh, jeez. The 2 yellows ran together, so I'm reading the anonymous donation.
Yeah.
Let's back to Patrick Seymour. Happy birthday to his daughter, Emma Grace, who turns 1.
Yeah.
No jingles, no karma, just money.
Right. Now
we move on to Anonymous, $333.33 from Ho Chi Minh City, once known as Saigon.
Now, hold on a second. Hello, everybody.
Well, that's close, but no cigar. And I've been there. It's a beautiful place. And there's a lot of good art you can buy there. I recommend people go there and buy and bring a lot of money and buy art. You can bring art and all these other kind of handmade goods back in the United States, duty-free. A lot of people don't realize that. But things that are handmade are like antiques. You bring them in duty-free.
You probably have to prove it, though.
If you got an oil painting, what do you have to prove?
Right.
I didn't have any trouble bringing in a huge roll of oil paintings. For my 33rd birthday, I'd like to make an anonymous donation of $3.33, longtime listener. Thank you for both watching the news for me, because I can't sit through more than 10 minutes. We just heard this a minute ago for mysterious person. For more than 10 minutes before turning red with rage when my faith in humanity hits rock bottom. I don't know how you do it. Thank you for your service. P.S. My husband, so this is a female, is looking into purchasing a Toyota Hilux after I hit him in the mouth earlier this month.
It is the vehicle of ISIS.
And then she says she's in Ho Chi Minh City, Florida.
Oh.
So that's Miami.
Yeah.
All right.
Well, let me give a little... hold on.
33, that's the magic number. It's the magic number.
You've got karma.
Little karma for her.
Or Miami Beach, one of the two. Robin Clements in Utrecht.
Very good.
Holland, 333.12. John and Adam, keep going. This donation brings me over the $1,000 line. Please knight me as Sir Robin Clements of the Utrecht Highlands.
Nice.
Is that a joke because it's flat?
No, there is a... it's too complicated to explain.
There's a little bump in the road or something?
There's a bump in the road. Yeah, there's a bump in the road. Exactly.
You could use some relationship karma, which we're still working on a kind of a prelude to that. But
did we have? I thought we had something, then I forgot what it was. We had something.
That's what we need, the voodoo doctor.
Ah, yes.
You've got karma.
You're getting props from the chat room on your Dutch, I wanted to point out. So you get to try it again.
There's something coming up. Adrienne Spronk.
Okay, Adriaan.
Where's the N? You said Andrian.
No, Adriaan.
Andrian.
No, not on. Adriaan.
Adriaan, that's what I said.
Spronk. In Zwolle.
In Zwolle.
Very good.
23456.
Nailed it.
Hi, guys. Earthship Karma didn't work. Let's try an invitation donation to Void Zero. John Void Zero. Okay, here we go. Yeah. I was going to actually cheat on this, but I decided...
Hold on a second. What I'm reading here, there is an invitation donation to Void Zero. Mark, of course, he's Dutch, and he runs everything on the...
he's our guy. He's our dude named Ben.
Yeah, he's a knight. He's a big dude named Ben. And he has a sentence he wants John to read for Void Zero. Okay.
Right, and I was going to cheat and go get the pronunciation so I get this down, but I'm going to read it because everybody thinks it's so funny. He mentions this in another note. Me trying to read these things. He says, the Dutch guys will love this. So I said, okay. And of course, he writes, let me put this, what he does. Dutch guys will love this pronunciation. Spelled wrong.
Okay.
Void Zero kom je naar met woonplek en als je wil mag je blijven slapen.
I'll read it just so everyone knows what he said. Void Zero, kom je naar mijn woonplek en als je wil mag je blijven slapen.
Yeah, pretty much what I said.
Yeah.
Which means...
At Void Zero, why don't you come to my place, and if you want, you can stay over. Yeah, I know. Yeah. Woo! Those Dutch guys, I tell you.
Yeah.
Crazy.
All right, onward. And Spronk was in for 23456. This you make him an associate executive producer for show 727, named after the Boeing jet. Robert Sigro, I guess, SGRO, 23456 in San Jose. In the morning to you, John and Adam. Let me start by saying thank you for your courage and for putting on what is truly the best podcast in the universe. I listened to the show with one of your Black Knights, Sir Steve Marchi, Paladin of the Light.
Oh, yes.
Having been called out as a douchebag multiple times, I hope you will make this donation a tribute for a de-douching, or as tribute for a de-douching. Now, know that I will continue to propagate the formula and work towards my very own knighthood. If you'd be so kind, I'd love some karma to hear the AJ demands you break your conditioning. 2 to the back of the head with her head is gone and a little kid boom shakalaka. Good combo.
Okay, the thing I don't know is break your conditioning.
Yeah, so when you've been playing.
Yeah, I just don't know. It's not necessarily named that way. I'll try. Well, I have a number. Maybe this is the one. Okay, and then what else? We have a 2 to the head. There's a lot of stuff here.
Then the head is gone, and boom shakalaka.
Okay, and does he want a de-douching?
On a de-douche. Oh, now he's getting
that's all right. I'll go.
You've been de-douched.
You let them run over weak and innocent people. It'll be everybody next. You stupid, self-centered yuppies. I will kick your ass. I am sick of your crap.
It's not the one, but I like it too.
And her head is
Boom
gone.
shakalaka. Boom shakalaka.
You've got karma.
Seek counseling, man.
Yeah, that's all. I'll got to find it's not labeled that way. That's why I got to figure it out.
Julian Erickson in Chicago came with 233.33.
Wait, hold on 1 second, John. Hold on.
Wake up! I demand you break your conditioning.
Got it. Okay.
Let's go. Probably Wake Up is probably the name.
Yeah, it's exactly what it is.
So people, if you want to use that in the future, Wake Up.
Wake Up.
Julian Erickson in Chicago, 233.33. The show's been incredible these last few weeks. Thank you. We agree, by the way. Listeners, donate. If you have a moral obligation, you have a moral obligation to the show, and you need to support John and Adam. It'll make you feel better. This is true. Did you go to college, higher education? How much did that cost? Did you pay for movies or books? How much do you spend every month? Is it time to value for value, which is why we all need to chip in and support the show? No Agenda provides a unique educational methodology to deconstruct the bullshit and it leads to a healthy life perspective. What is holding you back? This is him, by the way.
That's nice.
Me.
Yeah, it's great.
Requesting job karma, moving karma, engagement karma. Yes, I'll be attempting all 3 in the coming week. My girlfriend, soon to be fiance, and I will be moving out of the People's Republic of Chicago to Boston, Massachusetts. So any good vibes are much appreciated. Love to all, and keep up the deconstruction. P.S. We'll send photos over email to Adam.
Yes.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
A good note, I may reiterate in one of the newsletters. Eric Hoff comes in from Edmonton, Alberta. He sent a note. I made I had a little time, so I actually printed it out to read.
Nice.
He came at $222.22, and he says, you don't have to read this note if you don't want to. But
you printed it out,
so some of it is good. The first part is in particular. The Sunday show was great. I especially like this so-called Christian Scientist guy explaining why Christians hate science. I've noticed there's a movement within atheism placing science onto a religious pedestal.
Yes.
To these people, questioning scientists is like questioning the Pope.
Yes.
Questioning climate change is like questioning doctrine. It becomes a heresy to not believe the science because the science is in.
That's correct.
The science is in.
He does say something else at the end of the note. A related note is the use of the term brother's keeper.
I saw that, yeah.
A few shows back, you played quotes from Obama, starting with the My Brother's Keeper Alliance and a few more. There's a story in the Bible right at the beginning of the book of Genesis in which the 2 sons of Adam and Eve, Cain and Abel, don't get along. Cain kills Abel and buries the body to hide it. Not long after, God comes around, asks Cain where the brother is. Cain replies with something to the effect, I don't know. Am I my brother's keeper?
Uh-huh. Which means there's killing going on.
So whenever someone says they want to be their brother's keeper, they're associating themselves with the first murder in the Bible.
Yeah. Now that's a deconstruction right there.
Yes.
We could have come up with that one.
Very good.
Yeah,
actually, we should have.
I like it a lot. Anyways. We'll be talking about this science stuff and the Pope in a minute, too.
I've also come to a new conclusion.
Oh, good.
John Kumar in London, UK, 20150. Dear Adam and John, this is my latest donation to the show. Please read separate email. Oh, great. Well, this is the one I didn't look up. So let's see.
Maybe I have it. John, was this, who is it? Kumar?
Yeah.
You know, you only have to do one thing. Let me see. I don't think. Yes, donation. I have it.
Oh, good.
And the reason why you didn't receive it, did you receive it? Because we disabled the John@curry.com. That's gone.
I have it.
I'm just saying that we disabled it. People are saying, hey, it doesn't work. Yeah, I know.
It doesn't work anymore because it was a pass-through for a bunch of crappy spam. And by the way, I want to say this. We actually should be in tech news. We maybe do it in tech news.
We'll do it in tech news later.
Okay.
Hold on.
If I can remember.
I'm going to write it down. All right. You got the note? Can you read it? I'll write this down. Tech news.
Yes. Dear John and Adam, greetings from Gitmo Nation East. Please find the 201.50 for the fine work you guys do. My latest contribution to the show did not quite result in the book-selling success I'd hoped for, but subsequent to the show, HM Revenue and Customs, the UK equivalent of the IRS, sent me a refund of previous excess tax paid. Result.
Nice.
This time I can ask for some relationship and job karma, as that would set me up quite nicely for the summer. Again, thanks for the great show that you guys keep putting out. All hail Apple.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Amen. Fist bump.
John White in Jackson, Tennessee came in with $200.33. SpongeBob and Patrick, I want to apologize for my
Whoa. Who's SpongeBob? SpongeBob and Patrick.
Well, I don't know. Both these guys in the show are idiots, so it could be either one of us. I want to apologize for my reason. I can't do I can almost do. I used to be able to do a SpongeBob voice, but I can't do it. I could do Patrick.
I want to apologize. Oh, that's Freddy the Firewall. I'm sorry. Wrong guy.
I want to apologize for my recent absence. I was on a fact-finding tour of my protectorate, FEMA Region 4, the Tennessee Valley, and the Great Smoky Mountains. They contain many potential human resources for the no-agenda revolution. My journey has depleted my funds and the damage to my garage and truck caused by a teenage human resource who hasn't learned the difference between gas pedal and brake. Please accept my meager donation to your worthy cause. Please put $200 toward my next peerage promotion, but I feel free to use the magic number in cents as the best way you see fit. This is Dr. Sharkey, the Earl of et cetera, et cetera.
It's very nice. Karma.
And,
hold on. Karma.
You've got karma.
And finally, Ian Larson from Riverhead, New Zealand, comes in with $200, sends in a note. I did print this out, too. I'm not looking to pander to John's incessant whining about low donations. I simply want to return value for value. According to my reckoning, I donated when I was laid off midway through last year. I donated again when I ran out of work. I haven't donated recently because I was out of work for 5 months, and I couldn't even afford to download the pod. Oh, come on. You couldn't afford to download the podcast?
Where is he from?
New Zealand.
Oh, yeah. New Zealand, they have all kinds of crazy bandwidth caps still there.
No, they suck. I have a new job earning much less money, but I figure I'm better off than some listeners. Note, I say listeners and not producers because they are clearly too poor to even make a $2 a week offering to the podcast gods. Anyway, by the way, in the final analysis and at the end of the day, I have a new job and wanted to split my first pay with you guys. May the fruits of your labors be plentiful and rewarding. Best regards. Anyway, he needs some more job karma.
He sure
jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
That concludes our list of fine executive and associate executive producers for show 727, reminding you that you have a short few days before show 728 on Sunday. Dvorak.org/NA is a good place to go to help us out.
And I really appreciate a lot of the, always appreciate it, but some special ones today. People who are really pitching in when it's hard for them. And that's highly appreciated. These are, of course, like real credits. This is, there's no reason we can't give away executive producer and associate executive producer credits. We're both from show business. We've both been in the media. These are real. That's why we put them up here in the front before we go to our regular donation segment where we thank everyone else above $50. Really appreciate it. Thank you so much.
Dvorak.org/NA.
And you've heard about people hitting other people in the mouth. It's about our formula.
Our formula is this. We go out, we hit people in the mouth.
Shut up, slave.
Shut up, slave.
And I'm very curious about your take on the science as religion, and we've been got a lot of feedback from people about the vilification of people who go to church and are religious and how nutty they are, and they must all be Republicans and crazy. he just a clip to lead us into it.
2016 presidential candidate and avowed Catholic Rick Santorum had a message this week for Pope Francis. Just under 2 weeks ago, the pontiff called climate change a sin, reasoning that because the earth is God's creation, it should be protected.
The church has gotten it wrong a few times on science, and I think that we probably are better off leaving science.
Yeah, he says the church has gotten it wrong a few times.
What, are they talking about Galileo in the 1500s, or what are they talking about?
Well, that's 1 or 2 times.
Sin, reasoning that because the earth is God's creation, it should be protected.
The church has gotten it wrong a few times on science, and I think that we probably are better off leaving science to the scientists. When we get involved with political and controversial scientific theories, then I think the church is probably not as forceful and credible.
According to Santorum's reasoning here, the Pope, who, by the way, has a master's degree in chemistry, is not credible because he doesn't have the right science cred. And yet Mr. Santorum, who has a degree in political science, has no issue advocating for an abortion ban with 0 exceptions for rape and incest, a position he explained by relying on science. For the record, political science is not a biological science. Perhaps Mr. Santorum should work on his own science cred before taking on the Pope.
Alex Wagner from MSNBC.
God.
So this was a jarring little twist she threw in the end there, because now it all comes down to your degree, and you have a science degree in engineering or something.
I have a minor.
You have a minor. I got nothing. But
I started in chemical engineering, and I quickly realized
that there was more money in podcasting. Is that what you?
Yes, I realized that podcasting was the future. I quickly realized that I can't compete with the Chinese nationals that were brought into the system to just.
Did you really realize that? And you're 19 or 20. You realized this?
Yeah.
Nice.
Because you go in the room and you see most of especially the suburban kids, which would be me.
Yeah.
You go in, there's a big university, the big giant university. And there's lots of women that are just dynamite. And these kids, they're not going to date anybody. They're just at the nose of the grindstone the whole time. And it's a tough go. And so you quickly come to the conclusion that you don't want to go.
If you want to get laid, you've got to choose something else.
You can't do this. This is not going to be any good. You had to take some of these brain dead sociology courses. Look for some soc majors.
No.
No bueno. Some of these lines of study, for example, I don't want to demean anyone out there who has a sociology degree, but it seems to me it's an idea that once you get it, you don't really need to keep taking courses on it. I don't know. Just like journalism, I feel the same way about that.
Okay, to the point at hand. Now, I'd like reminding people that I predicted this Pope way before anybody else. I knew it was going to be him because I was looking for kind of first of all, it had to be South America. Knew it had, and he turns a Jesuit. Was right. He's a Jesuit, perfect. I didn't even know about the degree. But this is, as far as I'm concerned, a coordinated effort. This guy is in there for a reason, and the reason is to help this transition from moving away from any type of religious belief, maybe in the world anywhere, and moving it towards a new science that I believe in science. When you say I believe in science, it's no different from I believe in God. It is the new God.
Well, there's nothing to believe in. It's like I believe in my car. My car's out there. I get in and drive it around. It's nothing I have to believe in.
Well,
I don't sit in the car saying, God, I wonder if I stop believing that I have this car, then my butt's going to hit the road.
I think I have. Was this this? Let me see what this is.
Whoa,
I don't know what this is. What I was looking for was Elizabeth Warren, who was...
It's a course of study.
Yeah, but it's being shoved
there's a methodology involved. And the methodology, by the way, involves lots of, you have to... The whole climate science thing is a joke because there's no... the scientific method implies that you can do something over and over again and prove it that whatever the construct is you're trying to prove can be repeatable.
Right.
You can't repeatable anything if it's all based on a computer model that they keep changing.
Correct. Do you want to?
I think climate science is something you'd believe in.
But do you want to go to the your full analysis of this? Or
my full analysis is simple.
Please.
This is this entire climate debate is an experiment in mind control. It's a government experiment in mind control. And the more I see the way people come blurting stuff out, they don't know what they're talking about, or they do say crazy things. It's a mind control experiment. I think it was kind of busted up a little bit during ClimateGate when they found all these, when some dude named Ben cracked into the email system and exposed the scam that was going on behind the scenes in the UK about the whole climate global warming thing, which was years ago, and that really that hurt the movement a lot. Yeah. But they've they keep hounding and hounding. They keep using the 97%. They use all these tricks and memes. It's all mind control. And anyone who's all in on it can I play devil's advocate? Sure. How could this be? How could thousands of climate scientists all be in on this giant conspiracy theory you've just created, John C. Dvorak, of the government mind control? Whoa, you must be a Republican. I think most, and I would like to see somebody actually do a real survey, but I believe most of them aren't in on it. There's just a very few, and there's a lot of vocal ones, and there's a lot of people that aren't really scientists. In fact, most of the people that are big gung-ho climate change people are like Bill Maher. They have a loud bullhorn. They have no science background whatsoever. And probably used to make fun of the geeks in school, and they're pushing it on their shows. And I don't know how they bought into it, because I think there's mind control involved there too. This is a fantastic thing to witness if you're not being controlled by it. Right. Well, there was and I'm only saying this because I've been reading some of these topics recently, and I said, this is what is obviously going on. Well, there was an interesting article that came out, and I'll tell you what it was in a moment. And it was, let's see, a lot of what is published in here. I'm just quoting from this op-ed, what do you call it, column. A lot of what is published in scientific journals is incorrect. And this headline appeared in The Lancet, which I believe is a very prestigious medical journal, is it not? It's one of the top, if not one of the. It's one of the top. And the writer was Richard Horton. Okay, now I'm going to stop you here because I know where you're going with this. I have not been able to find this quote, even though I've heard about this quote. Oh. I believe you're headed to the same quote that I was looking for, and I couldn't not Let me see where I got this from. Okay, so you're saying, you know what? It's a good point, John, because I did not look this up in The Lancet. But I don't know if can you get to The Lancet without a subscription? I think you have to go to the library. You have to physically move your butt. You could call them up. They probably. But I would presume that this guy Richard Horton, that if he didn't write this, I would be hearing about that. But here's what he wrote, and a good point. I will double check this. We do not know. This is not verified, is what you're going to. Not verified. I didn't. I feel bad, but I'm ill. Okay, I'm losing my fight here. Quoting from his so-called alleged article. The case against science is straightforward. Much of the scientific literature, perhaps half, may simply be untrue. Afflicted by studies with small sample sizes, tiny effects, invalid exploratory analyses, and flagrant conflicts of interest, together with obsession for pursuing fashionable trends of dubious importance, science has taken a turn towards darkness. And he continues, in their quest for telling a compelling story, scientists too often sculpt data to fit their preferred theory of the world. And I'll go down to the end, which I thought was really nice. So according to Horton, one more suggestion, he says, if a lot of the stuff being published is incorrect or untrue, please refrain from comparing people who question the scientific consensus to Holocaust deniers and flat earthers. A little bit of humility would not be bad at all. If this is true, and he wrote this, that's pretty big, and I would agree that that's what science has become. And if you bring academia into it, it is precisely what we were warned for about the military-industrial academic complex, which is what it originally was before the speech, right? Yep. Now, will this get legs? No. Well, it's gotten a little bit of, I noticed it. I still have to find it. Okay, I have it now. Chat room is on the ball, and I have it here from thelancet.com. Then it is a PDF, and it looks to be correct. Okay, good. I'm glad.
Yeah, that's going to be in the show notes. Yeah, I hate it when you get duped like that and everyone's sending me Snopes links.
Can't you look up Snopes?
It really sucks. Here it is. Big PDF. What is medicine's stigma? Sigma? 5 sigma? Okay. Well, yeah, Richard Horton. Yes, this is the article. I'll put it in the show notes.
Okay.
But this won't get...
definitely read this. And of course, we talked about this before. There's a lot of other journals like the Science itself, the magazine Science, which is pretty well known. They had to retract a bunch of stuff, and retractions are rampant because people are lying. A lot of scientists are phony, ginning up results so they can get grants, and a lot of it has to do with the corruption of the government grant. And I think climate science is the best example of that.
Yeah. Which is all based on computer models. It's all predicting what is going to happen. It is not
there was a guy on C-SPAN a number of years ago, and I think I took the clip. We never played it. This was like, I'll never find it, but this guy was a computer scientist, a high-end one, who said that we can't use computer models for anything. He says they're all flawed. They're incredibly flawed, and it's extremely dangerous to rely on computer models for a lot of stuff that we seem to be relying on them for. But it's like those Airbuses, they can't even get the software to work.
Yeah.
Engines crap out.
Well, it was installed improperly.
How does that work?
Well,
it's either installed or it's not installed. How do you install software improperly?
Well, John, all software sucks. All software has bugs in it. It's not a bad thing. It's just fact. It's just how it works.
Oh, it is a fact.
Yeah, it's how it works. I see stuff on my iPhone crashing all the time. I mean, how about the bug where you can crash your friend's iPhone with a message? What is happening there is a bug. It's just what it is. This kind of leads into just a quickie, a throwaway, and I'll let you come back. I still have energy. Let me go.
Yeah, go.
President Obama was doing he was a couple of interesting speeches, and he did this one for I think it was the South Asian students who were in D.C., and he was really casual. He was even drinking coffee from a Starbucks. You couldn't see it was a Starbucks-like cup, which is very unpresidential. Whoever let that happen, you just don't let that happen.
Yeah, you should be only drinking from a cup with a presidential seal.
Yes.
Shouldn't be promoting some commercial crap.
You couldn't see it was Starbucks, but it was a cardboard cup with a plastic lid. It's like, someone ran out, but hey, I'm going to do this thing for these South Asian kids. Give me some coffee. I'm just started brewing it. Well, go to Starbucks then. Who knows how that works? But it was, I believe, in the White House. And at the end, there was a question, and the question was kind of, what do you want your legacy to be? What do you want to be? And I pulled out all the stuff where he's joking about, I hope they like me. But then this was just, he takes complete credit for saving not just America, but the entire world from the financial crisis. And then, of course, he's giving people health care, and he's fabulous.
Internationally, we've reinvigorated diplomacy in a whole variety of ways. People don't remember, when I came into office, the United States, in world opinion, ranked below China and just barely above Russia. And today, once again, the United States is the most respected country on earth.
Where's this?
I thought that was great.
Are they just lying?
We're the most respected country on earth, everybody.
Really?
You want to hear him quantify that?
Oh, yeah.
And part of that, I think, is because of the work that we did to re-engage.
Drone people.
Yeah. So loved in the Waziristan region.
The world, and say that we want to work with you as partners.
Yeah, take this drone up your butt, partner. Hey, partner.
With mutual interest and mutual respect.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, yes. Of course our partners want to go and rape all these other countries in the Middle East. Yeah, they got respect for us.
It's on that basis that we were able to end 2 wars.
Wow.
While still focusing on the very real threat of terrorism and to try to work with our partners on the ground in places like Iraq and Afghanistan.
Yeah, our partners of Shell and BP, and these are our partners.
It's the reason why we've are moving in the direction of normalizing relations with Cuba.
Oh,
nuclear deal that we're trying to negotiate with Iran.
Mm-hmm.
Our efforts to help encourage democracy in Myanmar.
Oh, yes, we encourage democracy. You know what it is, people?
If there's a need for a rescue mission, when the world is threatened, when the world needs help, it calls on America. Woo! And that's the story.
And don't you dare question it.
Yeah, I heard this too, and I was just like, it was a total eye roller. Yeah, I didn't record it. It's just I heard it on the radio, unfortunately.
I do. He also did an interview for. Wait, maybe this was something else. Let me see. He's just a lot of nutty stuff he's doing. Really strange outlets.
He's trying to get his legacy to the point where he's just shotgunning it.
This may be the same speech. Another just weird thing that he said here.
I know that one of the important principles for me has always been treating everybody fairly.
Treating.
He treats everyone fairly.
So whether that's women or people of different races.
Oh, yeah, this was his equality thing. It's funny.
Or different religious faiths or different sexual orientations. One of my core principles is that I will never engage in a politics in which I'm trying to divide people or make them less than me because
let me roll that back for a second. He's saying I will never engage in a politics in which I'm trying to divide people. Does that mean he does it and he just doesn't engage when he's doing that? Or what exactly does that mean? Listen again.
In which
let me roll it back. Just found it to be, when this is unscripted stuff with the Starbucks coffee is not good.
Principles is that I will never engage in a politics in which I'm trying to divide people or make them less than me because they look different. Or
what do you think?
Well, what he's actually saying is that he does engage in a politics that divides people and makes everyone miserable, but not because this is the way I think you can argue this. And you can play it again to prove me right.
We may be stretching here, but I don't know.
Listen to this.
Okay.
I do engage in a politics that divides people and makes life miserable, but not because of race.
Oh, he has a couple more. Let's see. No, that's good.
I will never engage in a politics in which I'm trying to divide people or make them less than me because they look different or have a different religion.
Okay, but if they're different political background, then he will do it.
Political parties.
Okay. All right. Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, that makes sense. And so to prove this and I just have this quick little bit at the end. To prove this, when when the question time came, he was going to women mainly, women, men, women, men, and it turns into this kind of disgusting joke. It's like we're in high school or something, calling on, now it's time for a girl to ask a question. It's like, what? That's irritating.
Two more. I got time for two more. Okay, it's a gentleman's turn. Last question. And all the men should put down their hands because it's
now put down your hands, everybody.
It's a woman's turn. No, all the guys have to put their hands down. This young lady in the yellow right here, in the corner, right here.
That's terrible. That's the juvenile.
Yes. It's sickening. I don't know. Yeah, juvenile, exactly.
Well, guess what?
I'm
stumped. I don't like to say guess what, but I just did. Guess what? Lindsey Graham is running for president.
He's great.
What a douche.
I'm happy because we need crazy people for the show.
This guy's one of the worst. So let's play his little announcement thing.
Okay. On the campaign trail in the United States, South Carolina Republican Senator Lindsey Graham has entered the presidential race. Graham launched his campaign Monday with a warning about, quote, radical Islam running wild.
The world is exploding in terror and violence. But the biggest threat of all is the nuclear ambitions of the radical Islamists who control Iran. Ladies and gentlemen, there are no moderates in Iran running their government.
Senator Lindsey Graham's campaign launch comes just days after fellow Republican presidential hopeful Senator Rand Paul blamed Graham and other, quote, hawks in the GOP for the existence of the self-proclaimed Islamic State.
Because we know that's true, mainly because of the document that shows that was all being set up, right?
Yeah, well, that and his continued support. That's enough of that clip. I think that goes into something else. Okay. But I do want to do this. I got to have... On the last Meet the Press, Face the Nation.
Yeah.
The guy quit.
Smell the glove.
So it quit. And he...
the old guy.
Schiffer, yes. Yeah,
Shyster.
Who they show him when he's younger, and he looks like he's like different people to the point where he finally got... I don't know how old he is. If you look him up, well, I know
what he looks like.
I think he's like 75. Whatever the case. And I said that on purpose.
Yeah, you did.
He... turned into a doddering kind of a old futz. I mean, it's the only way I can describe him. He was like just a regular reporter. Then he was kind of observational, and they showed all these different versions of him. He's like a chameleon, and he finally ended up as this kind of like dumb old guy. But he, on his final show, he has as a send off, he brings on Jeb Bush.
Ugh.
And so he's going to talk to Jeb Bush, and all he manages to do is remind everyone why Jeb Bush is somebody nobody should vote for. He's out of touch with reality.
Well, that's good.
He's a complete moron, and he's a warmonger.
And he's from the Bush family. Enough already. Enough of Bush and Clinton.
Well,
Screw
let's start by... So the Patriot Act isn't, they're talking about. So let's see, what do you think Jeb Bush thinks of the Patriot Act?
Oh, I think he feels that it's worked. We've had no big attacks from terror. And his brother is great.
Well, except for the brother, you got everything perfect on that.
We asked him if he believes the nation's security will be in danger if the program is allowed to expire.
I do. And it's not a violation of civil liberties. There's no evidence, not a shred of evidence that the metadata program has violated anybody's civil liberties. The first duty of our national government is to protect the homeland, and this has been an effective tool, along with many others. And the Patriot Act ought to be reauthorized, as is.
No. The number one duty is to protect and uphold and protect the Constitution.
So you think it should be renewed as is? No changes.
And I would like to point out that the changes that we have now, which is the Patriot Act is gone, the USA Freedom Act, the change is the government is no longer collecting the data. They're just mandating the telephone companies, and I believe it goes further than that. It will be...
There's a couple other items, too.
Yeah, yes, there's a few items to save all the data, and then they can go into the database, and this can be shared under complete immunity, just like the vaccine companies. No harm, no foul, and the telephony companies and internet service providers can also say, hey, we saw something that looks kind of weird, so we're going to give it to you. Again,
we added them, right. We gave them a little VIG so they can be little mini spies. They can spy for us.
And it will continue for another 6 months.
Spy on their customers. Spy on their customers.
The current, yes, you sound like Richard Stallman now. The current system will remain in place for 6 months, 180 days before the handover takes place, which should be more than enough time to set up the databases and get everything ready for the government just to pop right in. All right, more Jeb Bush.
We brought the telecommunications, for all practical purposes, we brought the telecommunications into the government umbrella.
Mm-hmm.
So they're saving the day, but they're actually working for the government now. Well, this is fantastic. So here's Jeb Bush on what do you think the greatest threat is?
The greatest threat, what I would say is that the American people are divided and are yelling at oh, wait, that's already happening. I'm sorry. That's already happening. We're all divided. I don't know. What is the greatest? Let's listen to what Jeb Bush has to say.
What do you think is the greatest threat to our national security?
I really want to think about it before I go on. Hold on. To national security. That would be encryption. Did I nail it?
No.
Oh.
Right now.
Wow. We have a lot more than we did just a few years ago. As we've pulled back, we have these new asymmetric threats of terror, ISIS and other terrorist groups that want to destroy Western civilization. So I'd say that's front and center, maybe the most important one.
Well, let's talk a little bit about ISIS and these recent successes that they've had, and it always seems to come as a surprise when they make another gain. At the very least, do you think we need to put some ground troops back in there?
I think we need to coordinate with the Iraqi government and with the Iraqi military.
So I still don't get what the greatest threat was.
ISIS.
Okay.
He's going to play the George Bush terrorist card. The greatest threat. Oh, everybody be afraid and vote for me.
Uh-oh, crap. Something bad just happened.
Okay.
Oh, boy. Hold on. Oh, crap. Are we still streaming? Oh, man, that was interesting. I think we're still on. Are we still on?
I don't know.
Oh, shit. Hold on.
You lost the stream.
Did I?
I don't know.
Well, I don't know. That's the whole point. Hold on a second, because I can't see now if I'm recording it. Oh, fuck.
I can't see. It's the mold.
Well, the thing is, I don't know if I'm recording. Oh, it's back. Oh, okay. Magic. Okay.
Magic. Sounds like a glitch.
It was a huge glitch, and I'm glad that I didn't have to deal with that today. Okay. Speaking of we've talked about this before. Why are all these people getting into the race? And part of it, of course, is you can raise money, you can be a kingmaker. But what was this? I don't know what. It was from maybe it was CNN. They gave a run. Of course, it's to slam all Republican candidates. But they really explained what good it is as long as you can get on the stage, you can be a part of the debates. It's a bonanza for you.
Turning now to the campaign trail and the ever-growing number
This is NBC, I guess.
Of Republicans running for president. They know only one of them can win the nomination, but there are some big consolation prizes in the race for the White House.
At Marianne's Diner in Derry, New Hampshire, Senator Lindsey Graham introduced himself.
I look at them all and I listen a lot at night, and I think, I don't know. There's just too many.
The challenge for Graham, he's number 9 in a growing Republican field. TV contracts, book deals, million-dollar lobbying jobs, and speaker fees. The surge of vanity candidates is only picking up steam. Lindsey Graham, though, hopes a little truth-telling will help him stand out. Expect the debate stage to be crowded. Imagine adding 7 more people to this picture. There's only going to be one nominee, but there are plenty of other candidates calculating that they too can win, even by losing.
Yeah, win by losing. It's true. You get to go on CNN, you get speeches, you're interesting. There's a market for this.
That's the show title.
Yeah. What is the show title?
Win by losing.
Win by losing.
I like it.
I thought that was of course, it's meant as a slam towards the Republicans, but pretty good analysis. I liked it.
Something's got going on. I mean, just too many of these guys, and the Democrats are starting to sneak in now because they see it as a potential moneymaker, even though they know they can't beat Hillary yet. But it's going to be like 1,000 people running for office, just trying to get book deals.
I should have been.
Yeah, because everyone wants to read what Lindsey Graham has to say.
Yeah,
well, maybe he'll come out. That'd be great. All right. So we go back to Democracy Now! Just this report is going on. It's a big Supreme Court case about the woman with the Muslim garb, and they went to the Supreme Court because they wouldn't give her a job at Abercrombie and Fitch.
Oh, I don't know about this. This is
this is the whole rundown of the story. But the only reason I clipped it, because I don't think it's that interesting, is to listen to Amy Goodman pronounce Abercrombie and Fitch in all kinds of ways.
Abercrombie and Fitch. That's how I would pronounce it. Abercrombie. Is it Abercrombie? Abercrombie and Fitch. Abercrombie and Fitch.
In a landmark religious discrimination case, the Supreme Court has ruled in favor of a Muslim woman rejected from a job for wearing a headscarf. Samantha Eloff was denied a job at an Abercrombie and Fitch store in Tulsa, Oklahoma, because a manager objected to her hijab.
She should have said Felch. That would have been funny.
It gets better.
Let me roll it back. Abercrombie and Felch. All right.
Finch store in Tulsa, Oklahoma, because a manager objected to her hijab, which violated Abercrombie and Fitch's rules on employee attire. In a ruling supported by 8 of the 9 Supreme Court justices, Justice Antonin Scalia wrote, quote, "An employer may not make an applicant's religious practice, confirmed or otherwise, a factor in employment decisions." Only Justice Clarence Thomas disagreed.
Yeah.
The company is Abercrombie and Fitch.
Oh, finally. She got it right at the end there.
I don't know how she did. I don't think she has an IFB, but maybe she does.
Well, I do want to say something about Abercrombie and Fitch.
Okay.
When we were living in the United States of Gitmo Nation East in the UK, when we were in Guildford, Christina had a part-time job on the weekends at Abercrombie and Fitch in the high street there of Guildford. And what?
Is that a good store?
Well, Abercrombie and Fitch is it's apparel.
Yeah.
And
they have some shirts from them.
Right. And the way it worked was you would work front of the store if you were good looking. The ugly kids had to be in the basement sorting stuff. And it was known. It was well known.
I don't see that this is a problem. This is marketing.
Yeah.
This is what you do. This is
not
marketing.
Fair.
Face to the public. I mean, if you're going to have somebody that's got, tattoos all over their face and they got big piercings through their cheeks and a bone in their nose, you don't want them greeting the public.
No, they were just overweight and ugly.
Where do you draw the line? If you're going to do it, the face of the public should be the most attractive face that you can hire.
But we know this doesn't work in the world of cultural Marxism. Hooters used to be fun. It's been ruined because they had to have flat-chested girls. What?
Yeah, there's guys that want to work there.
Yeah, guys. Yes. Yeah, this has all been ruined. And there's a lot of crazy things going on. In fact, here's one. Of course, we love talking about moral self-licensing. This is the ALS Bucket Challenge, which is... and this makes it even great. We identified this as a cross between a chain letter and something that's been studied. A lot of studies about moral self-licensing. Oh, if I just do this, if I dump the bucket of ice.
Another example of mind control, too, that if the way these letters work is an element of what ended up happening and everyone making a spectacle out of it.
Mm-hmm.
But there was no reason. And I, again, felt, of course, I was challenged by Leo, who I got to dump a bucket of ice on him, which was great. And I was refused. I wouldn't play this game. I wasn't going to dump a bucket of bricks or anything else on myself.
So now the association, the Motor Neurone Disease Association, has a new campaign. And they've taken it one step further. They've added the element that was just subtle that we identified. It's in the show notes. Sir Matthew snapped a picture of this. It looks like it's in a subway station. And so there's a guy, and then these are the letters on this big poster.
Wait, let me guess. I don't know anything about this, but you jump in front of a moving subway to get people to donate?
No. It's better.
Oh.
So there's this guy, and it's quotation, so he's saying it. Last summer, I was the only person I knew who didn't do the ice bucket challenge. 5 months later, I was diagnosed with motor neurone disease.
Oh, brother.
I know. How disgusting is that? It's like the chain letter. You didn't send
the chain letter. If you don't pass this on, you will be condemned to burn in hell.
That's right.
Wow. And now the more interesting part of the story, from my perspective, is who ran this story. Where did you get this story?
Okay, Sir Matthew sent me a picture. It's in a looks like a subway station. It's a huge poster. It's a big, it's an outdoor campaign.
So somebody made a poster.
Well, hold on. Let's go to here we go. Let's try this. MNDassociation.org. Hold on. We'll see. I should have done this, but I'm sick. Association.org. Let's see what we find there. Oh, is it MNDassociation.org. It's
Motor Neuron Disease, largest international MND.
Let's see if they have the campaign here. I don't see.
They should be ashamed of themselves.
Absolutely.
And anyone who would allow this poster to be placed should be ashamed of themselves, and that would be the underground in London, I guess.
Yeah, let's look at fundraising. Maybe that could help. Fundraising. Oh, here's last summer. Here. Oh, crap. Go to news and events. The top menu there, news and events.
That's it.
Then MND Awareness Month, which has not been proclaimed. Sorry, it's not official if it hasn't been proclaimed by the president. But is this UK? Here it is. Last summer was an important one for MND community. The Ice Bucket Challenge raised new awareness of motor neuron disease and over $7 million in donations.
I don't see where you're linking. I'm on the news and events, and I've got news and events, latest news, 2014, 2013 events.
You didn't? Last summer didn't pop up for you under awareness campaigns? That's what happened for me. I hit news and events, and then it's right there.
Awareness campaigns.
On the left, so you have latest news underneath media awareness campaigns.
Oh, there. Okay,
yeah,
I got it.
Yeah.
It's buried.
And then...
all right, awareness campaigns. Okay.
But I don't see I don't see... Oh, Michael's story. Yeah, here it is. So you see Alicia...
There it is right there.
Oh, it's all about it's all about the bucket challenge. There you go. There it is. Michael's story. Last summer was the only person I knew who... They're even promoting it this way. Shameful.
This is disgusting.
Uh-huh. And... He's age 33. There you go. It always pops up.
Yeah, well, at least that tips us off.
It always pops up. So there's a lot of this type of, and talking about mind control, there's a lot going on. The Caitlyn Jenner.
Okay.
Fantastic.
Well, let me interrupt with a Caitlyn Jenner clip because I want to play this clip.
Don't tell me this was on Democracy Now!
Yes.
Oh.
And here's the joke of it. Now, Democracy Now! Has all these very serious stories, and they have this news rundown where they don't comment on anything. It's like, and Hitler emerged as a zombie army in other news, and then they go right to the next thing. They don't say anything that this is good or bad. They make no commentary during the rundown of the news where they go from story to story to story. In this case, they went on and on and on, as though it's like there's no other story, and then they bring in trivia. The trivia about the Twitter followers and all the rest. This is one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard on Democracy Now!
And the Olympic gold medalist and reality TV show star, formerly known as Bruce Jenner, has broken internet records following the unveiling of a Vanity Fair cover story about her new identity as a woman. Jenner's the former step-parent of the Kardashian sisters. She announced her transition to living as a woman earlier this year before unveiling her new name and appearance in Vanity Fair. After her first Twitter post Monday, Jenner broke a world record by garnering 1 million followers in just 4 hours. President Obama took a little under 5 hours to hit the same benchmark. Chase Strangio of the ACLU noted, quote, telling Caitlyn Jenner's story with care means using the right name and pronoun, but it also means highlighting the extent to which it's not the typical trans story. For example, the facial feminization surgery that Caitlyn describes in Vanity Fair is almost universally excluded from health insurance coverage. Jenner's transition comes as a new UN report details, quote, pervasive violent abuse against LGBT people around the world, with hundreds of hate-related killings in the past few years.
This, to me, is this particular story and this particular transition of Bruce Jenner to Caitlyn Jenner. It is. We really need to keep our eye on this. This is not to be underestimated what's happening. First of all, photos by Annie Leibovitz in Vanity Fair, and pretty much across the board on Facebook. And I have not looked at Facebook since I did this initial investigation. It was just too much. Everyone's, the joke is, when you become hotter than your ex-wife and all this stuff, which granted, smoking hot, me, I love the trannies and the she-males. Fantastic. He's got a boob job. Whoop, okay. Everything's just, but this is being sold as sex. There's a big difference between talking about someone who feels they're transgender, they're living in the wrong body, etc., to what this became was just, it's sex. It's 100% sex. And I think it's very confusing, very dangerous. But you get these strange conversations, and I watched a lot of them, and most of them are just, it's too dumb. But the pronouns, now this is the big conversation, and we're having arguments about whether you call he, she, he, whatever.
So a lot of the younger feminists, for example, at the abortion funds, no longer want to use the word woman in relation to abortion because it excludes trans men. And
because when we're talking about reproductive, the physical attributes that allow one to give birth, right? That is part of the category that is sex, right? That's a physical category. That's not gender.
Right. So there's been this kind of move.
Is it true? Is gender not your actual sex? Is that not the same thing? On a
First
form?
of all, let's stop and start to analyze before we play this
good
clip
idea.
over again.
Yeah, good idea.
Because this clip needs to be played what you have. Because it's like, what are they talking about?
Saying he or she, but it's you now have to. Yes.
First of all, they're throwing a lot of stuff out there I think there's a massive amount of attempts to confuse everybody and also use this as a leverage point for all sorts of things. In fact, if you listen to
ratings,
they're using it as leverage for getting more health coverage for facelifts.
Right.
Which I thought was like, why are they bitching about this? Why is the ACLU coming in and saying, well, not everybody can afford to have their face lifted? You know, he's actually 65 years old. He should be looking like a 65-year-old woman.
Hey, I know a lot of really hot 65-year-old women.
Fine, but if you've seen him before he turned into a woman, he was an ugly-looking guy with sunken eyes. He looked like a
thank you.
He looked like a zombie.
Yes, and now he's pretty. Yes, big. Yeah.
How does that work? Now we have this gender bending thing where they don't want to use the word woman when it comes to abortions, but you're not going to have an abortion of a transgender male. So this is like, I think this is outwardly just a confused mess that everybody's just playing into, and I think is dangerous. But play Chris Hayes. Yeah.
Well, before I get into it, what I see happening is we've lost our entire sense of what is right and what is wrong, which is, I think when I grew up, that's what your parents were supposed to teach you. What is right and what is wrong. But we've gone so far in this, what is wrong is like, oh, I don't want to offend anyone by calling her a him. And because you have to be this is the cultural Marxism we talk about. And it's gone to this level where it's the abortion clinics who they're afraid to piss anybody off.
So a lot of the younger feminists, for example, at the abortion funds, no longer want to use the word woman in relation to abortion because it excludes trans men. And
because abortion. When we're talking.
What?
It's like, I'm going to give you a clip of the day when you're done with this, because this is the stupidest thing I've ever heard. Oh, let's don't use the word woman anymore when it comes to abortions, because it'll hurt the feelings of these poor bastards who can't get abortions, as if it's some positive thing to get an abortion in the first place.
Thank you.
So a lot of the younger feminists, for example, at the abortion funds, no longer want to use the word woman in relation to abortion because it excludes trans men. And
because when we're talking about reproductive, the physical attributes that allow one to give birth, right? That is part of the category that is sex, right? That's a physical category. That's not gender.
Right. So there's been this kind of move to remove the word woman from a lot of language around abortion funds. And there's a lot of second wave feminists, and not only second wave feminists, who say, if you take women out of this and you kind of take an understanding of patriarchy out of this, which I don't necessarily think you have to do. But I think, there's still a lot of sort of conceptual murk to clear away. But among younger people that I've talked to,
here we go.
It almost seems amazing to them that anybody would question the need to have gender neutral language.
Okay, gender neutral language. We're going towards, hello, Human Resource 5732. How are you doing today?
Yeah.
And this is, and when you look at the face of it, the sexual revolution, and this is so you could argue this is a continuation of the sexual revolution, which started before my time. It really is bringing us all down to an acceptance level that is going to equal in ultimately, less people being born, which is why I still believe that, and I don't care, but I believe this is being promoted because it's good. If we can get 10% or 20% of people to no longer procreate or adopt what is already there and available and willing and needed, then that's going to be good. Less people, just less people. I can't see it any other way. And I watched, because you scoffed at it, you sent me an email about it maybe a month ago, I watched Grace and Frankie on Netflix, which is another, just like the Modern Family and a lot of the, this is the new living. This is okay. This is where we can all be gender neutral. And it's very normal for 70-year-olds to all of a sudden become gay and divorce their wives. This is a good show, I want to point out. This Grace and Frankie.
Okay.
And it shows, the acceptance, just all acceptance. And at this point, when you have gender neutral language and we have to not trip up to piss anybody off, where does it end?
Well, I think you just call everyone it.
It.
That's about as gender neutral as you can get.
Do I still get to take my clip of the day, or did I lose the momentum there?
You lost the momentum.
That's what I was afraid of. Damn it.
You did.
Damn it.
But it was a clip. It was frightening. That whole network is frightening in its inability to come down to earth.
It's not just the network, John. It really started with
but I know,
Chelsea
but they
Manning.
reflected better than anybody else.
True.
I mean, everything else reflects it, but not like these guys. These guys are just all in. And it makes you wonder, I don't even know how you can think like any of the hosts on MSNBC. I don't know how you can. I don't know how you can legitimately think that way without realizing that you're not thinking clearly.
And I don't mind so much about what's happening, what's going on, but why do we have this particular conversation? Why is it continuously about not hurting someone's feelings when I think it's perfectly normal? I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's confusing to me. And not about Bruce Jenner transitioning. Fine. You could put another head on your body. I don't care what you do. That's great. I like how she looks. But you're going to get shamed into making a mistake. It's just all this politically correct language, words, descriptions, pronouns that can't be used. Is this not how it begins?
It's already begun.
I'm going to show my support by donating to No Agenda. Imagine all the people who could do that. Oh, yeah, that'd be fab. Yeah, on No Agenda in the morning.
You have some people to thank for show 727, named after the Jetlit liner. 727 coming down from the sky. I forget how those lyrics go. Dave Violux, I don't know. It's a French name that's probably pronounced Americanized, so I'm guessing it'd be Violux.
Veilleux. I would say Veilleux.
I don't think it's Veilleux. Nobody's pronouncing. He's not pronouncing it Veilleux.
Veilleux. In the milieu, Veilleux. And by the way, it's not he, it's it.
It pronounces it Dave Veilleux.
Because you don't know. Yeah.
In Concord, California, 12345.
Thank you.
By the way, and he says, thanks for the BPITU. It makes a daily commute into work in the energy consulting underworld tolerable.
Yeah, I bet.
So he's selling solar panels.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be guessing. See, looks forward to the pronunciation of his name. I also hit coworker Chris Kerr, whom I hit in the mouth a few months ago, is a douchebag. Chris Kerr is a douchebag.
Douchebag.
Appreciate calling him out.
Got it.
Hail Apple.
Hail Apple.
And now there's a Chris that comes in with spelled with a C, though, 10101 from Taiwan, known as Chris in Taiwan. He says his PayPal monthly debit never even started, so he's been unintentionally boning it for several months, and he owes at least this much. Tony Cross in Ottawa, Illinois, 100. Thomas Weah in Norway, 90. Alan Hawes in Windsor, UK. Nice town, by the way. I'm sure you've been there. 7531.
Is there a reason for that, 7531? Strange number. Oh, it's a UKIP donation number 5. Not sure.
I don't know.
Not sure.
I have no idea. Sounds UKIP-ish.
Yeah.
Danny Haynes in Grey Stands, New South Wales, Australia, 75. John Grumling, I haven't heard from him for a while, in Battlement Mesa, Colorado, 73, 73.
73s.
No call sign.
Oh, there's our host in Chickashinny, Michael Greer, who I think celebrated his birthday, and he didn't put it on the list. That's interesting.
Michael Greer and Shit. Put him on the list.
I will. Let me read this. Greetings from FEMA Region 3 with Adam threatening to dust off the DSC. He and Sarah are big fans. I figured I was overdue to donate. So happy belated birthday. Oh, to me, May 28th. There it is.
I missed it.
Swazelnoff to the sexy Miss Sarah. Uh-huh. And most importantly, good karma to the Hot Pockets 2008 Shikshini alums. Especially the family of Dame Kathy, Crash Helmet Kathy. We all met there. Here's hoping the Trail of Tears tour finds its way to East Bumblefuck, Pennsylvania, a.k.a. the greater Shikshini Tri-Township area. I'd love to visit these guys again. Put them on the list. May 28. Okay.
Jason Richmond in Richmond, Michigan. Or Redmond, Michigan, I'm sorry, 6969. John P. Hamilton in Carlsbad, California, 6961. Adrian Stride in Lighthouse Point, Florida, 6464. And he has a douchebag. He says, for Scott Strait on his 35th birthday, is he on the list? We don't know. See if Scott is. Put him on.
Uh-huh.
Although,
no, he's not.
With the proviso.
Yeah, hold on. Scott who? Scott
Strait, Streit, 35 on 6'4". He said he got me listening a couple of years ago, and he's a douchebag.
Oh, no.
Douchebag. Right. And we're going to give him a birthday call out.
Yeah, for douchebag birthday call out.
Yeah, douchebag birthday. Douchebag birthday. Jennifer Weeda in Wichita Falls, Texas, 5727. She sent a note in handwritten. And just to summarize, Karma played forward. She asked for Karma some time ago because she's trying to get a good apartment to live in.
Uh-huh.
It played forward. She got the greatest one bedroom she could ever find in her life, she says, and she believes it was because of the Karma.
Nice.
So she says it works, and she probably, you'll give her some more at the end of this list.
And just so you know, we never came up with this.
No.
I don't even know where the jingle came from, the Karma jingle.
I don't know.
It's been so long.
It came in early. It was like 5 years ago.
Yeah,
we just went with it. We just go with it. Wayne Roper, and most of the stuff we do.
Everything. Pretty much everything.
Well, the producerships, the knighthoods, that's probably the only two things we've come up with.
Yeah, but topics for the show, information from our intelligence network, which is everyone from our producers, the financial support from the producers, the artwork, the jingles. It goes on. Void Zero running an entire infrastructure free for us. We pay for the infrastructure, but he doesn't get anything. He didn't paid.
No, and he's one of the best in the country, in the world.
Maybe in the world, yeah.
Wayne Roper in Raleigh, North Carolina, 5678. Daniel Riegsecker in Archbold, Ohio, 5678. I don't quite get that.
I can no longer be a boner after 726's Agenda 21 scientist douchebags. That was a fun little segment we did there.
Yeah, a lot of we've since show 722. The shows have been outstanding.
Oh, that's when I started smoking weed again. That's what it must be. I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. People actually sent me that. No, I don't smoke during the show.
I'm smoking now.
Hey man,
Daniel. Hey man. Oh man, we're reading some stuff.
Hey man, New World Order is gonna.
Daniel Riegsecker in Archbold, Ohio, 5678, which I just said. Leon Stefanski in Woodhall Spa, UK, 5555.
Nice.
Andrew Prowse in Burlington, Ontario, Canada. Double nickels on the dime, along with Jeremy McKay, double nickels on the dime in Seaford, South Australia. We got a lot of international donors today.
This is nice. I like that.
Yeah, I like it. I prefer it. I like everything. I just don't prefer it. I just like it. Daniel Ehrlich in Bowlesburg, Pennsylvania. Double nickels on the dime. Aaron O'Callahan in Verona, New Jersey.
Hey, that's where I used to live.
Verona?
Yeah, right next to Montclair. Yeah. Technically, we paid Verona taxes, which was better, but it was seen as Montclair. And it's classier.
Good call on Fire Ice stock a month ago. Here's your cut.
Hey.
These guys are making money on our ice. Herb.
We could go on CNBC as commentators.
Be as good as anybody on there.
That's right.
Herb Lamb in Sugar Hill, Georgia, 5033. Boone Nadello Marketing. I guess it's Boonadello. And Traverse City. Oh, Traverse City. Nice town. $50.01. This is actually Mike Dell.
And he says a 73 there. Kilo 8 Lima Mike Juliet.
Mark Dunford in Waco, Texas, $50.01. Keith Novak in Jersey City, New Jersey, $50.01. Longtime boner, first-time donor.
Hello.
He said he started 30 shows ago.
Nice.
And then we have these are $50 donors, and they come in following order. Thomas Dolina in Cheektowaga, New York. Matthew Helly in Gatineau.
And he's there every week, man. Every show almost.
Yeah, he's in a lot. He definitely is. He's if he's not Sir Matthew, he should be.
And he also he tweets a lot. And thank to our Knights, I saw at least.
That's right. I've seen him tweet a lot.
Yeah. I retweeted, I think, 4 different rings.
Matthew Januszewski in Chicago, Illinois. Adam Beck in Las Vegas, Nevada. Richard Hewitt in Lenexa, Kansas. Stephen Milliken in Parts Unknown, $50. Shane Rozdilski in Saskatoon, Canada, the Paris of Canada.
Always there with a 50. Thank you.
Eric Miller, Norwalk, Connecticut, $50. John Knoller in Marlborough, Wiltshire, UK, $50. Wenpin, which is his first name, Wenpin Miller in Medford Lake, New Jersey. And finally, last but not least, Sir Brett Farrell in Oklahoma City. At least that's where his bank is. $50. I want to thank all these folks. And remember, there's a show coming up on Sunday. We're doing the best work we can. And don't forget to contribute for the next show, 728. Dvorak.org/NA is the way to go.
And we'll give everybody a Jobs Karma. It seems to be a lot of requests for it.
Jobs, 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 and jobs. Let's vote for jobs.
You've got karma.
Alrighty, everybody. As John said,
Dvorak.org/NA.
And today was a happy birthday, or actually Patrick Seymour says happy birthday to his daughter Emma Grace. She turns 1 on June 6th. Anonymous in Ho Chi Minh City, Florida, turning the magic number 33. Adrian Stride says happy birthday to Scott Stride, 35 today. Michael Greer celebrated on the 28th, and we say happy birthday to him and all the folks in Chick-Shinny. And, there's Scott Straight was on the list already. There you go. It just said 35 today. Happy birthday from all your buddies here at the best podcast in the universe. And we congratulate Sir Craig becoming a baronet today. Remember, itm.im/peerage is where you can find out what protectorates there are. Our barons and, of course, our dukes and dukes and earls and grand dukes. And we have 2 knightings. Viscount and viscountesses, yes. 2 knightings today. Robert Clements and Barry Coggins, if you could step up here. Watch out! Be careful when the sword is... you got your sword there up here, Joe. You should wait until I tell you to. Barry Coggins, Robert Clements, both of you have contributed to the best podcast in the universe, the amount of $1,000 or more. We highly appreciate your support and are very proud now to pronounce-ticate the Sir Slough and Sir Robin Clements of the Utrecht Highlands. For you, gentlemen, we have hookers and blow, rent boys and Chardonnay, 3 geishas and a bucket of fried chicken, drams and DMT, root beer and Legos, porn stars and pot, cannabis and Cabernet, wenches and beer, Rubenesque women and rosé, bong hits and bourbon, and obviously mutton and mead. I'm running out of steam here. Mutton and mead. Go to noagendanation.com/rings. And again, thanks everyone for retweeting. It's fun. Because when someone tweets out a picture of their ring, and it's nice. And that reminds me, there was this story that came through. Israeli customs officials have confiscated a package with at least 120 rings. And they claim the inscription on the rings, they're the same like ours, the signet rings. It's in Arabic, and the insignia is promoting the Islamic State. So it's ISIL rings.
They're copying our idea.
I know, bitches. I don't. I know. This is not. I totally agree. This is out of order.
The whole thing's some intelligence agency.
Oh, one mini little note here for the No Agenda Book Club. This is one of the first times I found something on the No Agenda subreddit, which was good. Currently, I don't know how long it will last, the book recommended by you, A History of the World in Our Time. This is the Carol Quigley book. Now, I do not know if it's the unabridged original or not.
That's the one you want if you can get it.
Yeah, it's available for free on the Kindle.
No, it probably isn't the original, but this still should be read. It's an outstanding read.
It's still good. Exactly. I think you may have this clip as well, but I'll just roll it out because Haiti is my beat, of course. And since
we should also mention that everybody and their sister has requested that we go after this.
Yeah, yeah. Although for me,
it's not to mention the point that we went after this story in 2012, whenever the Haiti thing.
And I have not let up. I've been incessant about it because there's still over 100,000 people living in tents. But the Clintons, everyone's doing fine. We've got the cruise ships are arriving again. We've got the Black Eyed Peas guy, whoever is the president. It's just the whole thing is disgusting. And billions of dollars just went missing. Who knows where it is? I think this is a smokescreen, so we'll talk about it after the clip.
The American Red Cross raised nearly $500 million for Haiti's relief, far more than any other charity. And a year after the quake, Red Cross...
That right there, I believe, is a lie. I'm going to say that is not true, and that it was, without doubt, the Clinton Global Foundation who raised the most money, because that was in the billions, as described everywhere, although we haven't seen it actually go into Haiti.
$500 million for Haiti's relief, far more than any other charity. And a year after the quake, Red Cross CEO Gail McGovern...
Stop. I think he weasel worded his way out by using the word charity. The Clinton Foundation is not a charity.
Ah, that's an NGO? Well, the Red Cross also isn't a charity if you think about it. Okay, let's continue.
After the quake, Red Cross CEO Gail McGovern announced plans to create, quote, brand new communities.
We're working on a planned partnership to build permanent housing for people that were left homeless during the earthquake. Under this partnership, USAID would identify and prepare at least 2 locations in Haiti for permanent homes that would include roads, drainage, and other infrastructure. The plan is that the American Red Cross would build these homes, including water and sanitation.
But an investigation by ProPublica and NPR has concluded the Red Cross response was plagued by failures. Despite the lofty goals, documents obtained by the 2 media organizations show that only 6 permanent homes were built with Red Cross funds. They also found inaccurate numbers on how many people were helped by various Red Cross programs. NPR and ProPublica say many displaced Haitians were given short-term rental assistance or housed in temporary shelters like these, prone to termite attacks and unable to withstand tropical storms.
And then, of course, the UN Blue Helmets gave them cholera. I believe this story is coming out. First of all, the Red Cross, I'm not a fan of the Red Cross. I don't like how they do not take the money that they receive from a donation drive and put it right back into the cause. They keep it. And they have hundreds of millions of dollars, and they always treat themselves very nicely. Beautiful buildings, beautiful cars. Been a lot of, certainly in the Netherlands, there's been a lot of dispute about what they spend on themselves. Well, is this the American Red
Cross or the International Red Cross, and is there a relationship?
Good question. I don't know, but this would be I would think this is the International Red Cross.
No, I think they said American Red Cross at the beginning of the story.
All right. They also when there's a blood drive. The way it works is they take your blood. They don't take that blood down to wherever they need it. No, they sell the blood. They are the biggest suppliers of blood worldwide. If you want blood, you buy it from the Red Cross, and they take the profit, and then they use it supposedly for other things. But this is obviously an outrage. It's easy to blame this Red Cross thing, which I don't think people won't even believe in the conspiracy because it's the Red Cross, for crying out loud. I think it's all to throw a smoke screen up for the Clinton Foundation.
Yeah, it's funny to think that. I felt this exact same way.
Yeah.
I thought the story was a misdirection.
Yeah.
Let's go after the Red Cross. Let's take the ProPublica group,
who are funded,
NPR, big time, Clinton supporters.
Right.
And let's go after some group. And so in case anyone goes after the Clinton Foundation for the same thing, probably writ large, as somebody said on a previous show, writ large.
What does that mean, writ large?
I don't know. It means bigger than the other one.
Okay.
So instead of going after them, if you go after them now, it'd be, the Red Cross, they already, we've heard this before. It's not news. Right. It's not news. And one of the great things you can, Hillary does this constantly. She says when somebody calls her on something, that's not news.
Yeah.
That's not news. You watch her do this. She does it all the time. Oh, that's not news. Oh, okay. If it's not news, then I can't say it. This is like what you run into, the phenomenon which somebody's picked up on, which is an internet phenomenon. Whereas if you blog something, for example, that's a story that's 2 days old, instead of like not 5 minutes old, you get a bunch of commenters. Oh, that's not news. That's 2 days old. Oh, what am I reading this blog for? What do I want to read just old news for? It's 2 days old. That's no good.
Yeah, true.
The Twitter guys do the same thing. Oh, that's been tweeted about before. Why are you doing it now? Why are you way behind? No. This is no good. You have to be up to date. And so Hillary's all on that. She's it's no good. It's no good. It's not news.
Yeah.
So that may be what's going on. You might be. I think you're right.
That's the only thing I could think of, because they're at, there's a lot of people going after him, and it's probably time to start talking about Haiti. She's got her brother with the gold mine contracts and all this stuff. Culturally speaking, there was something that popped up. Sheryl Sandberg wrote a long Facebook post. What did she
actually do? I was listening to some show the other day, and someone says, it's like all the great women executives, like the CEO of Facebook, Sheryl Sandberg. She's not the CEO. She's the COO.
Yeah,
and I don't know what she does.
Well, you're the boss. You run the business, and you report to the CEO. And it's a very long post, and beautiful, in its face value. And she says, today is the end of my Sheloshim, which is part of the Jewish sitting Shiva. So it's 30 days. She, went through her own personal path and agony, and she's thanking everybody and who helped her. And but she
why does she have to make this public?
Well, there's a couple things that pop up. What I liked, I think she also had to say this in order to say, hey, I know that you don't know what to say to me, and of course it's true. When your spouse dies, do you say, you say, how are you feeling? Well, the answer, of course, I feel like shit, obviously. My husband's dead. So people, and if you're an operator in a company, and maybe the employees are, afraid to look at her. And she writes a lot about that. But the thing that was picked out here for me, I didn't catch it myself, is she says, now we know that David died instantly. And that goes against, and she just says it, I couldn't find any other reports. This goes completely against the New York Times, against what David's brother, who found him, they all said, he had very weak vital signs, and then he died in the hospital. I just found that to be interesting, to pull it out of there. And at the same token, a lot of people, I haven't discussed this because I couldn't really make any connection, but on the day that his unfortunate treadmill accident happened, there was just a slew of gang warfare, like drug gang warfare in the exact same area. But, these guys are like tanks and bazookas and, RPGs, and they blow a lot of stuff up. And a lot of people.
Where was he again? I forgot.
Yeah, I don't have that handy. It was, I don't have that handy.
Short-term memory.
Notice I was very quiet when you brought that up.
Yeah, I did notice that. Now that you mentioned it, thinking back.
Yes,
even though I can barely remember that far back.
What's the name of the show? I don't know. Just something about
that. Voodoo doctor. We need to take care of this problem.
Okay, I will ask him.
I think I asked him, and I don't know. I lost his email. I don't know. I'm just lax.
You never talked to now. However, NASA has now confirmed these strange Earth sounds that are being heard once again around the world, which even I have a hard time believing can be anything but some dude with a loudspeaker somewhere. This is it. Listen to it. This is it. So this has been recorded in the United States, Canada, Australia, Russia, Germany.
The Vuvuzela or whatever.
It sort of sounds like Vuvuzelas, exactly. And NASA spokesperson.
We get a bang around here. This has been going on for a couple of years. It happens in strange hours, and it's just like a loud explosion that sounds like it's about 10 miles away. But the vibration, boom, you hear a boom, and it's like, what the hell was that? It's not a quake or anything, which you do get a boom out of that, too. But quakes make noise. And it's been annoying because it's like, it's not loud enough to be, it's not something hitting the house like a quake sounds like. A good earthquake, small earthquakes that are local, make it sound like a truck hit your house. It just sounds like something crashed into your house. and you have to go look, and there's nothing around.
Right.
But this is like a boom from the distance, like a war boom. It happened yesterday. Two of them.
There was just that NASA is the NASA saying, yeah, we don't know what it is, and that brings me, of course.
Well, thanks.
What?
They can tell us that global warming's working out, but
I'm gonna send this to you on the transom right now. I'm pissed I didn't do that already. Someone sent me a PB. I'm gonna just change it. I'm gonna play it right off of the web page here. Let me see. I can send this to your Skype. We never do this, but you need to see this as I play the audio. Hold on a second. This is the NASA Goddard, the science spokeswoman, who we were laughing about. What's her name again? Michelle Thaler. And there's this video of her.
We got a nasty note from somebody on Twitter.
Oh, yeah.
You guys shouldn't be picking on someone's looks.
Okay, so I'm going to play this audio, and then you can either look at it in real time along with me, or this is her about her cosplay, about the Renaissance Fair. And she's dressed up in this costume for this piece, which is from PBS, The Secret Life of Scientists and Engineers. Hold on, let me start this for a second.
Is she holding a rifle?
That's what I thought first. It's a telescope of some sort.
It's a telescope, but it's got a logo on this. It says Celestron. They didn't have Celestron telescopes back then.
Just listen to this audio, and I'll tell you what you're seeing. So here she is, Michelle Thaler, astronomer. She's
I think even as a child, I had a sense of drama. And when you think about the stars, they look sort of cold and distant, these tiny little lights. But these are the most gigantic fires in the universe.
And the way she uses her hands, she's a teacher.
The sun could fit 1 million Earths inside it. Everything that you see up there is at least that big. These are dramatic things. One of the things that all scientists have in common is imagination. You can't discover something new if you can't imagine. How am I going to put together this experiment? How am I
or make it up?
Going to find out more about these binary systems that I like so much?
Now here it comes.
Imagination is so important. That's one of the ways that having a really interesting hobby can really be useful, even in your professional life.
And now it switches. This is so strange because now she's in the garb and she continues with this voice. Nothing fits.
Whether you want to imagine yourself as a Jedi Knight or as an Elizabethan dancer.
And she is. She's dancing, John. She's doing.
Oh no.
Yes. But the complete no rhythm. She's just and she explains it too.
I dance with a group of people called the Guild of St. George. At any given time, there may be a dozen of us, all dressed in a similar way. The entire outfit weighs nearly 30 pounds. Ooh. And it takes me about half an hour to get into it. Layers upon layers. The corset needs
You've got to see her spinning around, man.
Be
That's
laced
great.
up. We perform at museums, Renaissance fairs. Occasionally, we get hired out to be extras in a film if they're doing an Elizabethan costume drama.
And that's very exciting.
One of the things I
It just goes on and on. And then she says that she's dancing based on mathematics.
Love specifically about Renaissance dances is that they're very mathematical. I have one of those brains that when you solve a math problem, I get this little shot of endorphins. It actually gives me pleasure. And when I'm figuring out an Elizabethan dance, which is often variations on a pattern, I get that same reaction.
Okay, I'm going to stop here. Now, when I saw, and she's saying this in this costume, I figured it out. This whole thing that she's doing is a big sex fetish thing. This got to be about sex.
You think like furries?
Yes. Yeah, exactly. It's a completely... now, they're just having sex in these costumes. There's got to be something strange about it.
Well, I got called out for suggesting that the furries have sex in those costumes. And I got called out by some furries that said, no way. These costumes cost thousands of dollars. There's no way anyone's having sex in them because they, makes a mess in one way or another. And it's impossible to get these things, no. Just no.
Okay.
That was just the answer.
All right.
I would say the same thing here. No.
I'm just looking at her.
She's not wearing this outfit having sex. Maybe with the corset alone or something like that, perhaps.
Well, it's the undressing probably that's part of it. This is a fetish.
It takes half an hour to get dressed. It's going to take her 45 minutes to get out of that thing.
It was just so... I would put it in the show notes. Just
Elizabethan stripping.
I don't know.
That's pretty wild. Well,
I liked it.
Talking about strippers. So I ran into a publicity stunt, which I hate to take part in by mentioning a company, but I got a press release from an operation I didn't even know existed, but of course they want to be known, so they would do something like this. The operation is millionairematch.com. And this is like farmers only, you never be lonely. With
I am familiar with this.
You've heard of Millionaire Match?
I have.
I have never heard of them. But okay.
And I don't know what you think it is, but it may not be what you think it is.
It's a dating site.
Yeah, it's for hot girls who want millionaires.
Yeah, that's what they say.
In exchange for allowance.
Well, okay, fine.
Like sugar daddy thing.
Well, why then, according to this press release released by the company, Attention Media, screen caps and company executive interviews are available upon request. More than 250 porn starlets removed from millionairematch.com.
Oh, they just ruined the whole site.
That's what I'm thinking. We are constantly maintaining the quality of people allowed to participate in our community, said the CEO of Millionaire Match. Quote, we removed 257 female porn stars in our recent investigation. And they say most of them lived in the San Fernando Valley, which is where they all live.
Yeah.
You want to meet a porn girl? Move to Los Angeles in the Valley.
It's ruined.
Referred to generically as the Valley.
Completely ruined.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I thought it was a blunder. You want more porn stars for these millionaire jerk-offs.
That's the whole point.
That's what I was thinking. So it's a negative. So this is going to have the effect of a negative business, although they will introduce people like myself, I suppose, to the name, of which I was unaware of Millionaire Match, which seems like the most pretentious dating site imaginable.
Yeah, my buddy Ryan, a couple months ago, he said, hey, man, you should sign up for this. Like, what is it? I'll go take a look. Trust me, it's good. I did not sign up. It costs money.
Oh, these things all cost money. They're all come-ons. They send you these. This all.
Yeah, screw that.
We had a whole chapter in our book, Online the Book.
What book is this?
This is the book that I did a number of years ago.
I don't know anything about it. Tell us about the book.
Look at that. Look, it's just, you get it on Amazon. You can download it free.
You just want to tell me?
Yeah, I'm telling you. It's a book I did a couple of years ago with Chris Pirillo and Wendy Taylor. And it's called Online the Book, and it's about online life and everything you need to know about going online and being online or navigating being online or whatever. One of the whole chapters, there's an entire chapter written by this guy who is a singles player. He went to all these, joined everything. And he came up with the conclusion that these are all of these are just out and out borderline frauds. They have all these teases. Oh, you got to join. You got to go premium. Look at me. I'm Christine. I'm local to you here. I'm in San Leandro. And of course, she's not in San Leandro. She's nowhere. She's just a model.
Right.
And he says, once you get to the amount that they want you to get to, you'll never hear from anybody. There's not a girl in the world that's interested.
It's a jip.
It's a jip.
It's a big ass jip. No good.
Yeah.
Let me see. Stuff I'm working on for Sunday's show, then I'm really just going to have to take it easy. I can't even put the books in the book. Oh, I threw my back out, too. I'm a mess.
You threw your back out?
Yeah.
Get some ibuprofen.
Dread Pirate, whatever, Ross Ulbricht, the Silk Road mastermind, life in prison.
Yeah. Well, something's fishy about that.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just a middleman. I mean, how did the guy get? Where's all his money? And if he had that much money, to have the world's best attorneys.
Well, didn't the FBI take it and then they auctioned it off? And wasn't it the VC guy who bought it?
Bitcoins.
Yeah, who bought who has the daughter who does the TV show?
Richard Branson.
No, come on. The guy's daughter is doing a stupid TV show.
Oh, Tim?
Tim Draper. Yes, thank you. I think he got the auction and he got all the Bitcoins. And I'm going to tell you that whether it was intended that way or not, I'm going to say it again, Bitcoin is going to be used to usher in some form of cashless society. There's just too much. The libertarians love it too much. And now there's all these regulations and the banks are getting into it. And there's going to be a lot of different cryptocurrencies, but I have a feeling the Bitcoin brand will be used in some way to create the cashless society.
Well, the whole economy is going to collapse before they can get that far, so I'm not worried about it.
Can you tell me when that is?
Yeah, it's in between. It's either second half of 2016 or in 2017 at some point by October.
October?
A year and a half window there.
Is that the world economy, the U.S. economy?
Yeah.
And then
world.
All right. Can you tell us what we should do to protect ourselves?
I've been thinking about this. I do think about it. I think real estate's a good investment opportunity. I think it's going to be safe because we already had a bust there, and it usually doesn't happen twice. Except in areas like San Francisco where it's overpriced.
A question. Texas is also overpriced. Do we wait for the collapse and then buy? Or
No. You got to get in because I don't know. The problem is with these collapses, because I have indeed studied them since probably 1857 or even before. I also looked at the tulip thing, which is also right on the cycle, which is kind of funny.
You mean the Dutch tulip mania?
Yeah,
that was a good one.
Now there's a bunch of them. There's a bubble from trading in the South Seas or something. There's a million of these things. They come and go, but every one of them is distinctively different in such a way that predicting what you should do in advance is extremely hard. I don't know that it can be done. I think you just have to, batten the hatches and hope for the best. And knowing that it's, I think shorting the market would be a great idea when this thing starts to go, and just try to ride as much of that as you can. At least you can come out with some cash. But I don't know.
I'm sorry.
Go on.
Well, I was going to say that entertainment is typically an industry that does well in all times of.
And food service.
Food service?
Yeah, food, like restaurants.
Okay.
In 1933, at the bottom of the Great Depression, there were more restaurants opened up than probably the early 10 years before that.
And music is supposed to get better.
Music, well, yeah.
It's not really, not yet. Not yet.
I don't see an example this time.
Not yet. But the entertainment
is always a winner. Writing's a good business to be in because people are like, I was once told when I was writing for Market Watch, when they had I was there during the collapse of 2007, 2008, and their numbers skyrocketed because during a downturn of any sort, people freak out and they want to read everything they can to figure out what's going on. So they're very aggressive about finding stuff to read. So you get
in a way, our program here, our little podcast, is almost like a canary in the coal mine.
A little bit.
How about the new CBS show? And I'm surprised you haven't brought this to my attention. And I found this is like the pitch reel that a producer will use to pitch it, and they just, in this case, I think they just put a new voiceover because CBS bought it. This is from the producer of The Biggest Loser. This is a category that I call poverty porn. And I've seen this in the Netherlands, which people are hurting so bad there. But the Netherlands, Calvinistic and, almost like a British stiff upper lip. And the Brits are good at it, too. They're never going to tell you that they're poor, that everything's messed up. The poverty porn called The Briefcase. Have you heard of this program?
Yeah, the second episode just aired.
Shall I play a little bit of this trailer just to give everyone a little taste of it?
Well, I'm not going to subscribe to this one, but I do have now as you're bringing up the entertainment business, I have something to recommend.
What would you do if $101,000 landed on your doorstep?
If I know one thing that's true, what you say is what you do.
Across America, hard-working families are feeling the impact of rising debts and shrinking paychecks.
I don't think it works if you don't see the video, honestly.
Well,
the idea is...
I don't think it doesn't work.
No, I don't think it works.
Okay.
I'll give the premise of the show. So all these poor families, you see their hardship. One got a wooden leg. The kid, the one is like a small person. It's like, just give me all the outcasts of society. Anything that makes you look sad and pathetic and you have no money.
Right, makes the viewer feel better.
The viewer, yeah, of course. But there's a twist, which I like. And they say, okay, here's $100,000. You can either keep it all yourself or you can give it away to someone else. And what you don't know is that they have given the family that you might consider giving the money to, they've also given them $100,000, $101,000. And so, of course, you have some people saying, oh, I kept it all, where the family that they didn't give the money to says, well, we're going to give it to you because you're sad. It's like this. It's poverty porn.
This is sick.
It's poverty porn. That's what I'm saying. Yes.
Yeah, no, and I don't think I'm not attracted to the show. I find it annoying and gimmicky, and it's got everything, and it's elitist.
I think it will be a huge
hit. And it's kind of like
hit.
patronizing. It's got every checklist thing I don't like.
Precisely. I think it's going to be a big hit.
I think it's going to be a flop.
All right, you wanted to say something about...
I think most people are more like me. I think they find these things offensive. Yes, I'm right on the money.
No, I don't think so. People love this.
No.
They love seeing people who are worse off than themselves.
There's that. I agree with that element, but the rest of it is too sick and weird.
That's why they bring in the wooden leg and stuff. It's like, well, we're poor, but at least I got 2 legs. At least I'm over 3 feet tall. I think it's going to be a big hit. I do.
I think it's going to. I hope it's a flop.
And we'll see more of this. Did you want to say anything else about these?
No, I have a better show that everyone should check out, especially our audience. There's a lot of
I'm sorry, I was not promoting the watching of the show. Let's just make for the record.
No, I don't care.
Okay.
If you're promoting it or not. I'm not watching it.
Okay, yeah, good.
Now, this show you do want to watch, and I recommend it. And I've showed it to a lot of people. I have a copy of it, and it's just available free, so I didn't steal anything. But it's a free. But you can get a good copy if you try hard enough. And it's a teaser. They threw it out, and it's unfortunately the drawback to this whole thing is it's going to be produced and shown on USA Networks. And USA Networks are one of the worst bonehead operations there are. And it's like it was the pilot, which obviously wasn't controlled by the suits at USA Networks, but it has enough, I think, going for it that it could probably go a good season, like Rubicon, for example, and then, disappear from the face of the earth. It's called Mr. Robot.
Didn't you mention this last show, maybe? I
think I mentioned it to you after the show.
Short-term memory.
After the show. I think I mentioned it to you.
Okay.
And Mr. Robot is about a hacker, and it's the best portrayal of a hacker I've ever seen. And the twist that makes it entertaining is that this hacker guy, which I think does reflect the number of actual, real, genuine, honest-to-God superstar hackers who can do crazy things because they can visualize what's inside the computer as they go wandering around, is insane.
Yeah.
Nice. He's completely bonkers. And it is a great, entertaining show. And it's about him versus this company called E, which is a huge conglomerate that is kind of mixture of this company and that company. But he considers the name the E being evil. So he thinks that, and he calls it the evil company. And he imagined anyone who ever says the company's name that they're saying evil.
Oh, okay.
And which makes the show even more entertaining. Well, the evil company gave us a contract today. And it's just something people should track down and watch. And I think if you're technically inclined, you'll enjoy it. My wife liked it. JC liked it. His wife liked it. Everybody that's seen it likes it.
If the kids like it, it's always good.
The kids like it. The adults like it. It's likable.
All right. And then I will say, if you want to see some fantastic acting, Lily Tomlin in Grace and Frankie is mind-boggling how good she is.
That's right. She's in that.
Oh. With Jane Fonda. Jane Fonda she's not real. There's nothing real about the woman, so it's hard to get into what she's doing. But Lily Tomlin in this is outstanding. And just to see Martin Sheen and that guy kiss each other is pretty funny. Yeah, it's funny.
Okay, I got one more then.
All right.
My favorite show on television.
This is how we're sinking pretty low. Yeah.
Well, we're running out of time. We ran out of material. I do have 2 clips left.
Well, let's do that because I have nothing.
Don't you want to know what my favorite show on television is? I think it's been taken off the air.
Let's call it a teaser, and we'll tell about it on Sunday.
Reruns of it. Okay, let's run it. You got to put it in the book, or your book, so I don't.
I'm putting it in. All right, teaser. And I still have written on my piece of paper. We have tech news. You want to do that on Sunday?
Yeah, we'll do this tech news too, because I forgot what it was.
And let's do your final clip.
Let me write down. I just remember what it was. Okay, I got 2 final clips.
Okay.
One was this. Let's play this one. This is the series. This is the story the clip I wanted to play earlier, which talks about the nonsensical Syrian situation where they're somehow Assad is now with signing up to join ISIS. Let's play that.
The self-proclaimed Islamic State has launched a new offensive in the northern Syrian province of Aleppo. The militants have pushed back an alliance, which includes Western-backed rebels, capturing villages near the Turkish border and coming within 30 miles of a main border crossing between Turkey and Syria. As rebels appealed to the United States for airstrikes to counteract the assault, the U.S. Embassy in Syria accused the Syrian military of carrying out airstrikes to help ISIL's advance. According to the Britain-based Syrian Observatory for Human Rights,
which is one guy in an apartment. We know that.
May mark the bloodiest month so far this year in Syria, with more than 6,650 people killed across Syria.
Okay, so that kind of wraps around, so we got that out of the way. And now we just want to hear what's going on, what's the latest, what's the status with Snowden, which is the international crisis between the United States and Russia, I still believe stems from this particular problem.
The White House
and won't go away until something happens.
The White House has rejected the possibility of dropping charges against NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden.
Hold on a second. Really? Dropping the charges?
No.
Is
play it again.
The White House has rejected the possibility of dropping
I'm so tired.
charges against NSA whistleblower Edward Snowden, despite supporting a bill to overhaul the bulk phone spying program he exposed. White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest urged the Senate to pass the USA Freedom Act, which would store phone data in the hands of phone companies rather than the NSA. But Earnest refused to consider a shift in the administration's stance on Snowden, who has asylum in Russia.
The fact is that Mr. Snowden committed very serious crimes, and the U.S. government and the Department of Justice believe that he should face them. And that's why we believe that Mr. Snowden should return to the United States, where he will face due process.
No, he won't.
He'll have the opportunity, if he returns to the United States, to make that case in a court of law.
The bulk surveillance program expired at 12:01 a.m. Monday after Kentucky Senator Rand Paul blocked efforts to extend it. The Senate's now considering the House-passed USA Freedom Act, which would reform bulk spying and reauthorize two other expired provisions of the Patriot Act.
I think the reason why I misheard it, first of all, because I'm just ill, but I think what to me, his operation is over, and he's always been a CIA guy. We've discussed this ad nauseum.
Yeah, he said so himself.
And now he'll come in on video conference for any little gathering you have. You can get him to, look, we have Snowden via Google Hangout. And it's always Google Hangout. It's never Skype. It's Google Hangout. And it's over. But I think he's kind of been left alone to okay, thanks, we're done with you. And really, the USA Freedom Act has turned into something much groovier for intelligence organizations. It's much easier. There's really if any change, it's all cosmetic for the outside world. And I think that it's just over for him. He'll never. They don't give a shit. No one's talking about him anymore except this. Just dumb stuff. I think he got gypped, is what I think.
I think he got It wasn't what he signed up for, to be stuck in Russia.
No. No, definitely not. Okay. Thank you, John, for dragging me through it.
You did great. Your voice came back.
It's all pure energy. You laugh.
You go conk out.
Yeah.
I can't breathe. I can't breathe.
John, thank you very much for your courage. I always appreciate having an opportunity to speak with you. Full of knowledge.
The pleasure is mine.
Oh, well, there you go. Thank you very much, chat room. You definitely were helping me out. Yeah, I'm taking the Sudafed. That's the only thing that kept me going. Pill popping. That's right. Pop two of those right around the Cinco de Mayo and we're good to go. And we'll be back on Sunday. Lots of things to look at. Lots to deconstruct. Coming to you from FEMA Region 6 here in the capital of the Drone Star State, in the Crackpot Condo, where I am losing the fight against the new mold order. In the morning, everybody, I'm Adam Curry.
And from northern Silicon Valley, there's no mold around here. I'm John C. Dvorak.
We'll be back on Sunday right here on No Agenda.
There's no winning. We don't like to foster a competitive atmosphere, but we laugh a lot. Now everyone hug and share a secret.
Facts. On the best podcast in the universe. We're all
Adios, mofo.
Flying over Afghanistan, or maybe it was Pakistan. I promised myself to aim myself at every woman, child, and man. That was on my list. I don't care if I missed. I'm remote controlled. I do what I'm told by someone at a computer. Obama gave me a push, more than Bush, and I cost millions. I'm supposed to target terrorists, but not so much civilians. I don't know what to say. Whoops, some got in my way. A drone again, naturally. A drone again, naturally.
That's how we go. That's how we roll.
That's all, folks.
And that's the story.
The best podcast in the universe.
Dvorak.org/NA